pay to use it. I have to at least get what I pay for.
I must make all that money worth it.
It's not just to make my bookshelves look nice. I don't like other classes about stuff.
Do.
Shut
Why,
up.
hello.
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 Kirby, it's been a fair bit. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I can't actually remember. Have we actually ever done a D&D session together?
I don't think we have. I think it's just been Dead by Daylight.
I think it's yeah. I think it might have been just Dead by Daylight, and Paranoid. What is it called again?
Oh, what was it called?
Phasmophobia. That's the one.
Phasmophobia. That was it.
Phasma. Because I could have sworn we did a one shot together, but then I was like, wait a minute.
Did you
Now I
do?
think of it.
Was it Kieran's Mistborn one shot?
I tried to say, it might have been it. It might have been because I remember Kieran did a one shot a while back, which I think I actually
It was. It was based off the
partook in.
Mistborn books. It was a heist.
Was it like we were meant to be going somewhere to heist, but it was like in the island where there was a sea lord protecting the.
No, it was like a fancy ball.
Oh no, but no.
Well, I guess this is the first.
Okay, fair enough. Well, it's a happy first time then.
You promise you'll be gentle.
Be right
Yes.
back. I am getting a call.
I thought Leo. Wonder if he's pretending to get a call. Because of all the sexual energy right now. Hmm.
No, I think he has. I do think he has a fall
Yeah.
because then he would have engaged.
Oh. But yeah, I am, to be honest, quite a fair veteran when it comes to being a part of Lee's D&D sessions.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Your real name is it Connor?
Yeah,
Ah, good.
yeah,
Yeah,
you got it right.
I know.
I know
I
it's
just
been long, but it's not been that long.
I know. The name people call. You know the name people know me by, but you don't know my real name.
I don't, unfortunately, know.
Yeah, people never call me by
And
my
I
real
think it's because I was told specifically that no one has ever called you by, well, no one really actually calls you by a name. And when they do, you think you're in trouble.
name. Yeah, true. Basically, it's because my first name is actually Jake, but
Oh, yes, it is. I remember now.
there were several. What the
I
shit?
think we're in a call before, and literally you said if anyone calls me Jake, I get a bit worried because I think I've done something wrong.
Oh yeah, that must have been a while back. What the what the hell was the piss and monk page? I'm sorry.
Wait.
My character's a monk, and I've got the player's handbook, and I'm trying to find monk. Instead, I'm
Uh,
finding everything else.
well, fair enough.
I could really do with a bookmark.
Bum 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 monk. Monk. Bum 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 monk.
Personalities and background.
Lee,
Warlock.
I can't remember, but you know some of the references I've given you for well contacts that my characters have known.
Mm.
Did have I actually named any of them at all?
No,
Fair
not a
enough.
one.
Finally, I found it. It's page 76.
Nice.
Nice.
Wouldn't
And it
there
took me like several minutes.
wouldn't there be a legend for that kind of thing?
I tried to do it the basic way.
I'm gonna flick through the pages. Fuck reason and logic.
Well, I've got my Gate Guardian Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'll use that as my bookmark.
You will guard the page. It will never be lost again.
Well, I actually did have my bookmark in, but it was under Wizard class for
Hi, Muzzy.
Rachel's campaign.
Right. So, as we are all here, you may feel free to introduce each other to yourselves. Because I'm pretty sure Mosey has not met Kirby. Oh wait.
What?
Oh yeah, no, you were in the game. Yeah, what am I thinking of?
Yeah,
Well, to be
yeah,
fair,
yeah.
we've never met in person, so you're not wrong.
I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, since we're all here, while he tinkers looking for that, I will give exposition and all the other fun shit. To start with, is there any questions about the game before I actually start?
A small question.
Yes.
Can we do a shorter one today? Because I'm not feeling 100%.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay, thanks.
To be fair, like, given that Jeff's not involved yet anyway, it just works out better.
I was going to say, it's not going to be. I don't think today is going to be a massive one because this is a technical session 0.5.
It's going to just going to be like an introduction, I imagine, or something.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it could be introduction slash. I think Lee's got a few of us starting our own thing anyway, so it'll just be a summary of how we get to more or less where we all meet up, rather than first session be that we all have our own individual thing of where we make our way and meet up.
It's just going to be like how we all meet each other or something.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
Okay.
what I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's start with a bit of this. You're always gonna have some starting tavern music. So to begin with, through either invitation by signing the contract, or just generally be invited, or maybe you happen upon the land for one reason or another anyway, you've all come to the place known as the Willow Plains. In the great world of Atlesia. The Willow Plains is kind of like the definition of a wild land. You will find more often than nothing the term humanoid is loose here, because for the most part there are no typical human varieties. There are small clusters of actual humans you will find, but they are a 1% here. In these lands, you will find more things like orcs, goblins, gnolls, kobolds, dragonborn in small mounts, Kenra, tritons, everything and anything that spits the word human out of their mouth like it's nothing. You may see some elves, but they too are in limited numbers. You may see some dwarves. But again, this is more of a monstrous land. A place where only those that were either born in this survival-based continent or have been molded into it. Or, like maybe some of you, are seeking a bit of adventure and fun here. And money, of course. I've sent some of you that it applies to information about the contract that the Grand Expedition would have asked for you to sign. I will give some context on that. The Grand Expedition is an organization that has been crafted by many nobles, many full pockets of all descriptions. Some countries along the world have signed a petition to prepare this organization. For the most part, as of the moment, they have just barely set foot in the Willow Plains and started up a small base in a small village called the Windall Village, currently with a population of about 12. They are not fighters, they are not survivors, they struggle every day. They are dirt poor, and the only reason they've managed to survive is because they are on the edge of the island and mostly ignored. Not to mention the Cormac cluster, we'll kind of call it a pharaonic or Egyptian kind of like themed clan possessed by the Kenra. They are probably the most lawful or kind of the many clans you'll find here. Given that they possess most parts of the land and are causing enough trouble towards some of the other clans mostly ignore the Windle village. They won't go out of their way to specifically hunt them, because there's no benefit to them if they want to keep their land. So, Walgrim, the current head and ex-adventurer, semi-retired up until the Grand Exposition was created, and he was offered the head of the table and the explorer extraordinaire, shall we say. He's the boss, pretty much. Some of you might not have signed the contract, that's fine. Some of you might have already, and you would have met Walgrim. There is a deadline for signing the contract, and that is 1 week. The Grand Exposition have set up some small tents and some familiarity with the folks at the Windle village, as well as a few people here and there that have spread out to meet other clans, mostly the Cormac. But there has been some small interference between both the Arginum Horde and the Razorback, who have taken every opportunity to attack or dismiss any attempts for talks by the Great Expedition, who, as of the moment, is just trying to seek a foothold in the terrain without an onslaught. They don't have much, that's why they require adventurers like yourself to scout, research, maybe even fight in their name. As of the moment, each of you are kind of just roaming in around about that area through one reason or another, which for today's session, because it will be a smaller one, I won't give any exposition as to if you have joined them or not, because it's not necessary. We can decide that over the week as we play, and as you guys figure out some more bits, fill in some more details, whatever you like. But for the time being, doop, and you can go boop. So we will start on the beachfront with my dear Conaroo. The two of you obviously won't be able to see his map, but that's because you're currently on your own. Let me just double check that there is no dark vision messing things up. Good, and also good. I will ask that until I give some kind of semblance of an all clear, please stay where you are on the map, just in case there is something that needs to be sprung on you.
Roger.
So, starting with you, Connor.
Alright.
You, as of recently, have had quite a shit spin of things, to put it bluntly. You have landed here, would be the kind of way of putting it. Smashed into the seabed would be a more simpler way of putting it. And you have just woken up. There is sand in places that is very uncomfortable. You have somehow managed to retain quite a bit of your equipment, whatever you managed to carry with you. The boat that you came here on is seemingly in pieces. You can see a couple bits of those pieces on the sandy shore beside you. Not exactly enough to make another boat though, so it's a bit awkward. But as you stand up slowly and you kind of just hear a few things crack and click, and you just kind of feel all around uncomfortable when you have to start stretching everything. And you just look around. There is this deep heat coming from your surrounding. You turn around, you look up toward the sun, and the sun is just beaming high in the sky. And it's not like the sun itself is the only thing that's causing you such tremendous heat. You are kind of like feeling the heat. It's causing you a lot of sweat, and it's sticking you all over, and it's very uncomfortable. Not to mention you're also like soaked from the waters. And as you kind of look around through the forest, you can tell that wherever the hell you've ended up, it's gonna be a long journey to somewhere that's, let's call it, not native or primitive. As of the moment, it looks like this place hasn't been touched by any mortal hand. It looks all natural. And as you kind of just look around for a moment, you look out toward the sea and you kind of see a small glimmer of another island off in the far, far distance. Make a perception check, please.
Slightly pressured. First roll of the game. Let's go. Oh, I just realised it's GM, but yeah.
That's fine. A 21 is juicy.
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, you've already done it. Nice.
Yeah, I've just changed it.
So as you look off into the distance, the sun is like really beaming into your eyes. You kind of have to wince a little bit. You put your hand up over your eyes, and as you're looking out into the horizon, you see this kind of black dot that's getting bigger and bigger. And as you're kind of looking, you kind of squint a little bit, and as you're looking, this blue streak is flying through the sky, and it's coming your way. You don't know if it can see you or not, but as it gets closer and closer, you can see a very large wingspan and what looks to be a scaled face and bared teeth.
What the hell is that?
For more specification, look at the bottom right of the map.
Oh, shit.
It's coming your way. You don't think it's coming for you, though. But if you're out in the open for too much longer, it just might.
I'm going to just try and get to here.
Okay. So as you quickly go running, as this thing is flying along, you see from that black dot to as you're running, in the span of like 10 seconds, this thing covers at least a good 300 feet. And as you quickly rush and dash in between the trees, this thing flies overhead, and you feel the wind pulling along with it. And if it wasn't for the fact you're already underneath trees, even with the wind being blocked mostly by the trees, you feel a stream almost push you a couple of feet further. And there's suddenly this little static that hits your shoulder. Just this one little spark. And as it goes flying overhead, you hear a kind of cry of a kind of draconic roar from it as it flies overhead. And as it flies off into the distance, you kind of look out as it's flying off, and you see it's heading off towards what looks like a mountain in the distance that just barely eclipses the canopy of the trees. The trees here stand at a good like 40 feet. But as that flies off, you kind of make note of it, and you kind of click a few more things. What do you want to do next? Do you just begin a walk through the jungle?
I'm gonna sort of like, just click, and I'm just gonna sort of like mumble to myself and be like, I want to assume that's maybe a dragon. And I'll just strut on. I'll get to here, and does it look like anywhere within within my general vicinity is about any form of anything?
It looks like just a lot of
Any
trees.
signs of life? Just a lot of trees.
There is, looks kind of like a path, but it's more just grass isn't growing there. that kind of splits off into underneath the canopy of the trees, and you do see a kind of path. There are a few bits of like vinage and bramble that's in the way, but you can see at least cover from whatever the fuck that was. And
Any sign of tracks on it at all?
make a survival or investigation check.
Okay.
So, as you kind of begin to wander along, you look around, you look at all of the brambles. That it doesn't look like there's been any real movement here lately. There are a couple of small footprints that look to be like some kind of small animal, like a rabbit maybe. But beyond that, even then, those are very like old marks. You can just about find them. Beyond that, there are a couple of like vines and leaves that have come off of trees and the like, but it seems like natural causes. It seems like this part of the land is mostly uninhabited by wildlife, or at least anything dangerous to you at the moment. It seems like it's mostly untouched. Okay.
I'll follow the path onwards, but seeing that, well, one of the very first things I've ever seen on this island flies, I've taken the assumption to, well, most things will probably fly here, so I will walk the path, but with a sword and shield at the ready.
Okay. As you pull them out and begin walking through the wilderness, looking around, keeping observant, you follow the path. And I will jump to Kerbob.
Yup.
Also, I don't know why the players thing is still there, that's weird. So, Kerbals.
No one's ever called me that before.
You're welcome. You, over the last couple of days, have kind of been spending your time here. Again, we can go over the specifics at some point. You've been wandering through. You found a small raptor-like dinosaur creature that seemed very docile. Managed to tame it, and you have been mounted on the back of it, riding through the jungle, just kind of exploring for a little bit. You maybe would have heard about the Grand Expedition and been trying to find it. You have a general idea of where Windle Village is, and you've been very easily surviving here. And as you're running along on the back of the creature, which, for the sake of a visual, it stands very tall, but it itself is not very broad. It's a very skinny creature. It's just incredibly tall, and it...
Basically, I'm riding a velociraptor.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are riding... Hold on. Let me just edit the thing quick. Let me, there it is. You are riding this boy.
Okay. You're saying I just found it, is that right? And I tamed it?
Yes.
Okay.
These things seem to be relatively normal around here. They're kind of like chickens in a really weird way. They will eat flesh and meat, but they don't really have an aggro style to them. They're very easily tameable.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yep.
as you get to this point, the creature itself has quite a bit of a jump to it as well. But as you get here, you notice a very obvious trap. As you see a little further down what looks to be a toppled over tree. From what you can just about see from the top of the tree at the back here, most of the bottom side is covered by a what looks to be logged tree. You can see what looks to be, they've been quite literally like pulled out of the ground and then probably shoved over. So what would you like to do, seeing what you're pretty sure is the most obvious trap you've ever encountered?
Okay, so you're saying it's been pulled from the roots, is that right?
Mm-hmm. It's been pulled out from the roots and then something has toppled it over.
So it doesn't look like it's been cut.
No.
Well, clearly I can see that it's been pulled from its roots, so maybe, obviously, keep an eye out for like maybe like I don't know, giants or something large enough that has the strength to pull something that large out of its roots like that.
Mm-hmm.
So still generally keep an eye out for something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
keep an eye on my surroundings.
You have control of yourself and your little boy there, so feel free to do as you like.
I guess I'll go a steady pace down, but as I'm progressing, I just generally keep an eye on my surroundings to my left and right.
Okay.
Listen for any sounds.
Make a perception check. Ooh. I'm assuming for the most part your sheet is still...
It's all is 0.
Okay.
On skills, it's all is 0, and there are no tick boxes. And oh my god, everything is a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Lee, what did you do?
Hey man, I made sure to reset everything. You level 3, motherfucker!
I'm at level 3, not level 0. Give it one second. I need to quickly go to D&D Beyond.
See, this is why you should deal with your sheet early, motherfucker.
Well, has he just come across something he felt that he didn't know?
Well, put it this way. His abilities, his saves that aren't native to Monk, his skills are all unticked and at 10 or 0.
And then this makes it feel like this.
Can be.
I wasn't gonna let you have your old ability scores. Come on, you were level 6 or 5, one of the two. I don't know.
Fortunately, my D&D sheet, D&D Beyond, is at level 4, so I'm gonna basically keep those stats.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm panic clicking now. Lee, what have you done to me?
I told you you should deal with your sheet. To be
Okay,
fair,
perception is wisdom, right?
it would be noted on your sheet.
Wisdom is 16.
And yes, it is. To be fair, a 7 wouldn't have changed much anyway. As
I
you...
have perception in... Okay, yeah, I would not know. I have perception in athletics, intimidation, and stealth.
To be fair, if it does help, at the moment you don't really need your sheet to be ready, if I'm being honest. Which, unless things go actually south and sour, you'll be fine.
Okay, I'll just update my character sheet along as when we're playing, so we'll keep going.
Okay.
So I guess I'm continuing. I don't see anything.
Nope.
Apparently.
Bland as a bet, fool.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
So
As I'm approaching the tree, I'll probably just try and go along the sides since I don't see anything.
Mhm.
Is it possible for me to go around here?
it would be if when you got here you didn't suddenly hear "Get them!" And all of a sudden, from every direction, you see red boys jump out from the hidden spaces, and you have been removed from the map. What the fuck?
What?
What happened there?
I think I tried to delete the lines I drew. Sorry.
Oh. God damn it! You don't get away from this! Yeah, hold on. I'll pull you back.
What is the what running speed is this Velociraptor I'm riding at?
Tis a 45 foot.
What's 5 foot? So
As you hear that, you see from behind the stump, from above in the tree, and behind the 2 rocks, a couple of kobolds with bows trained on you. And from behind, you hear the footsteps of 2 kobolds with what look to be kind of like butcher's knives for like blades. Step out. Let me just check if a thing. Okay. If anyone would like to see their pictures, they are under Willow Plains, Tribes, Razorback Clan, creatures. They are the Kobold Slasher and Scavenger, respectively. As they step out, and they all look aggroed and ready to fight, and then as this one at the back here, what looks to be another kobold with a large, like, butcher's knife, but it has a pair of small wings. As he steps up, and he goes, "Yeah! Hold on! You see he's looking around a bit confused, looks at the ground, and you see confusion in all of the eyes of the kobolds, as the ones with the bows trained on you kind of start lowering them a little bit, and then they all look over toward the winged kobold at the back. And he goes, we wasn't expecting you so so it's not good to be out in the open like this. But we could have come and met you, you know. I'm so sorry, sir. Then you see he very quickly lowers his head and puts the sword back in a little sheath he's got on his back. And you see all of the other kobolds kind of start looking toward him and looking at you with immense confusion and regret. What do you do?
Okay, so I clearly don't know these kobolds, right?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna try and bluff my way out of this. I look at the leader and I'll go, and why exactly would I tell you my plans?
That's a fair point, sir. I apologise. We're just here waiting for travellers to provide for the clan. I'm sorry.
As you should. All of you, back to your positions, and I will pass.
You then very quickly hear the sound of them quickly scuttling back, and almost impressively, they very quickly get back to their positions, and it's almost like they become camouflaged where they were hiding. You do see that the one leader at the back, as he's there, he just raises his head up a little bit and goes,
if I might, sir, it's good to see a dragon head has returned to the clan. We desperately needed assistance. The orcs and their filthy green ick, they're pushing back very hard.
I just look at him and go, as though I understand.
Would you require an escort to the southwestern camp so we can destroy them? Or would you like just go on your way, sir?
You have a job to do, so I will continue by myself.
Of course. Apologies.
and then he very quickly, like, kind of scuttles back, nearly falls over as he's trying to move back behind the tree, and leaps down. You see him flutter just a little bit, and then he hides behind the tree once more.
Alright. So I will continue as fast as I can, so that way they don't get a good look at me.
Okay.
Boop.
Oh,
Boop.
it's a new one.
Boop.
Boop. Boop.
Boop.
Boop, 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 boop. So as you and your horned raptor start charging along, leaping over the tree and quickly making your way across, you look back and you see the kobold leader with the little wings that sat there kind of takes one small glance toward you, and there's a kind of look that he gives you for a moment where you're not sure if it's admiration or if he's quizzical, but he stares for a second, and then when he notices your gaze he very quickly looks down, and as you pass by, stampeding along very gently, you spend the next couple of minutes marching through the forest. And that leads you off eventually. But I will get back to you in a bit. Mozzie Dozzy.
Yeah.
Well, hello, my guy. You, of course, have your own adventure going on. You've come across a cave entrance at the very least. You can see before you, of course, a bugbear with very little ability to guard. He is quite literally just resting his back
Bugbear
against.
what?
He's got very poor ability to guard a place.
Okay.
He's currently got his back against the stone wall and like is picking his nose, not paying any attention. And you see as he's like picking it, he kind of looks at it, just kind of takes a small smell of it, looks around the area for a second, more so to make sure no one's watching him do it. Doesn't seem to clock you. And then he kind of just flicks it out into the wilderness. What do you want to do?
Do I know what I need to do?
Yes. Inside the cave, there's something that's helpful for you in your adventure at the moment that is waiting for you. Not to mention, again related to the Grand Expedition, this place is a place of interest. It will need to be cleared out. You have been warned that this place has been mentioned to house a small force of goblins and orcs and the like, so caution is advised until they can get more reinforcements. But you reckon at the very least you might be able to get what you need and leave before any actual problems occur.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, yes, 30 it's right now. I am. So I know he's going to try and probably call someone from the inside or kill me, I guess. So I'm gonna tread carefully. I'm gonna move here, behind the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it seem like he's looking, like the direction?
Firstly, I will say, as you run across, there is a moment where, as you're quickly running across, you do notice he kind of does look up for a second. He furrows his brows and then he just kind of shrugs it off. He seems to be mostly looking either down or in this direction.
Okay. Got it. So I'm gonna keep going through here.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go through the trees here?
You can.
Okay.
Up here is available to go on as well. And it's, from this point over here, it's a 10-foot climb.
Climb. Okay, so I can climb like here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to do that quietly.
All this up here is just one straight walk around up until that wall.
Got it. You go here.
Mm-hmm.
Like behind the thing.
Mm-hmm. Can you make me a stealth check, please?
No. Okay. So. Fuck.
Let's find out how bad it is in a moment.
I'm gonna quickly duck.
But what about the goose?
Wet goose.
Exactly.
Ah, I see.
So he's going to do perception. Ooh. To be fair, I mean, even his passive was enough to hear. So as you kind of start walking through, a lot of the tree line, there's a lot of like rustling going on and large amounts of grass, and it's just you hear the cracking of a twig, and you very quickly just like, ah shit, you duck down into the trees. And he does seem to be alert for a second. He turns around, looks in your general direction for like a second, and then he turns away.
Okay. Good. Then I'm going to slowly peek my head. See that he is looking at the same direction, I suppose.
So
Oh,
that
then
he,
there.
so that he starts to walk forward, puts his hands in front of the lit, what looks to be more like a pyre than anything.
Mhm.
Places his hands over it, kind of warms them a little.
Okay. I'm going to use. Let's see. Sorry.
No, don't worry.
I'm going to cast Minor Illusion.
Mhm.
Like here. Exactly.
Mhm.
To make sure the tree branches like block me. So he'll go like here, approximately.
Okay.
And I'm going to make like a rustling sound.
Okay. So as the sound of rustling happens, you see very quickly like Snap turns around and grabs the mace at his side, and you see as he's looking over at the tree, he's like glaring at it for a moment, and then you hear the sound of a squirrel making noises as it comes running up toward the top of the tree, and then he looks up toward it. What language can you speak?
Common, Ignorant, Dwarvish, Draconic.
You don't understand what he says. It seems to be some kind of racial tongue. And then he kind of like makes this kind of like throwing motion with his mace, as if he's going to actually throw it at the creature, but he doesn't want to get rid of his weapon. And then he turns back around again slowly, gives it an evil eye, puts his mace back on the strap, puts his hands in front of the fire again.
Okay. Let me check something real quick.
As that's going on, still in the same map, by the way, Connor, you, as you're walking the path, notice it kind of starts to slope up a little bit. Not by much, like it goes up by a small, like 1 foot by 1 foot. And as you're kind of walking up this hill, you're kind of smelling this fresh scent. It kind of smells meaty. It smells a bit raw, but it kind of guides you enough to civilized areas. And as you're following it, make a perception check.
Okay, 1 moment. Perception check number 2.
Not bad. You arrive here. You notice that ahead of you a bugbear warming his hands by the fire, and he has a
Wait, where do I arrive?
at the bottom of the map. Boop.
I was
Oh,
gonna
sure.
say,
Hold on. Yep.
My
Just
screen's
realised.
not changed yet.
Yep. There you go. So you are down here.
Okay.
You see a bugbear just ahead of you, currently stood in front of the entrance of what looks to be a very dark cave. You also notice a little bit behind, Actually, no, you wouldn't be able to at that angle. You notice the bugbear has a mace on his side, and he has like a very angry, furrowed brow, and he's warming his hands, and he's kind of seemingly muttering something to himself.
At this point, I'm just gonna don't as he's not noticed me yet. Put my sheath my short sword back, but more or less had my arm down to the side to the point where I would be able to draw it out again with ease
Mhm.
as I walk towards.
As you start walking closer,
I'm going to take a look at my surroundings as well.
put it to about there. Mozzie,
Yep.
you, from the elevated angle you have, see him walking along. What's your first reaction?
I'm going to squint and be confused, since no one else should know about it, I guess. It was more of a solo mission, am I correct?
It's just
Mm.
something that you yourself wanted, as well as if you chose to join the Grand Expedition, they would have said this place needs to be scouted.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I already joined.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. I'm going to squint and mutter to myself, who the fuck is this?
And I will step up to this land here.
And I'm going to just stand up a bit, quietly, and I'm going to wave at him and do like a shh sound.
Can I actually see him from this angle here with the tree there?
No. The tree heavily obscures it. He can see you, but you
But I can't see him from my angle
not
because
without
he's on an elevator.
not without a lot of
But,
effort.
Yeah.
Not to mention his little stuff. Yeah. The
Yeah.
bugbear. He, while he's
Okay.
warming his hands, kind of turns, looks up toward you. He sees you and he sees you're just kind of like stood there looking forward as you're taking very slow steps. You see he puts his hand on his mace, not drawing it, but it looks toward you and he starts to make noises. What languages can you speak?
I speak the following.
So you can't understand what he's saying. It again sounds kind of like a racial language. He slowly pulls his mace out and holds it up, and as he's speaking, he just kind of goes, "Other, other," as he's pointing at you, and he's pointing to the ground in front of you.
I sort of like stop steadfast and I sort of look to him and put my hand down towards my blade, looking like, is he wanting to fight me? And I look upon him with a look, as in a questioning look.
You see that as he's looking at you, holding up the mace, he kind of looks around a little bit, around, pretty much just around where you are. So like just in this area, making sure that there's no one else hiding. And as he's holding up the mace still, when he looks at you, you see that he kind of looks down for a moment as if he's trying to think of something, and then
I will say in giant. What should I say? I'll say something like, "Hello, do you understand me?" in giant first, and see how he reacts.
he just kind of stares and he continues to think to himself, but keeping an eye
then-
on you.
And then I'll say it in Orcish,
Seems to be the same result.
and then I'll say in Common.
Seems to be the same result, except there is some kind of small spark of recognition, and he seems to get deeper in thought, but he's still watching you, the mace held high. And then you see that he kind of just starts like muttering to himself.
You stop.
Which I'll sigh, and I'll just withdraw my hand from my sword, and I'll just this will be a very weird. He might not know how to react to what I'm about to do, but I'm just going to let out a heavy sigh and just plop myself to the floor and just thud my shield to the floor as I sit down cross-legged and just look and lean on my shield with my arm, just looking at the guy.
Okay. Muzzy, is there anything you want to do?
I'm going to stand up here and kind of crouch a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and
Connor, make a quick perception check.
Yeah.
Nope. You're just like obscured slightly by some leaves. Not enough to
Yeah.
cover your whole body, but enough that he can't physically see you because he's distracted with the bugbear. And as the bugbear kind of points forward with his hand.
I'm going to hold on. Let me just check something. Range. Good. If he's starting to yell, I'm going to mage hand and cover his mouth.
What is the range of it when it's cast?
30 feet.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So as the mage hand appears pretty much on his space, technically, because no, hold on, trying to figure out how I want to. No, rule of cool. So as the hand appears, it places itself around his mouth as he's about to say something.
No. Only if he shouts. Like,
Oh, no,
shout
he's-
for help or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So the hand appears floating above him. Of course, you can see it, but for anyone else's eyes, it is invisible for the most part, I believe. Or hand lost for duration, blah blah blah.
Doesn't say anything.
Hand appears. Oh, yeah. I could. Oh no, I was thinking of unseen servant. Pardon me.
Yeah.
So the hand appears floating behind him, in a way that you can see him, but no one else at the moment can see him, or it. And as he's pointing forward, he just goes, "You." You see, he kind of turns back and looks inside, and then he looks at you, and then he points back to the way you came. Leave. Go.
I'm gonna. Well, is there like a stick or anything near me?
There's a couple of little bits, a couple of little pebbles too.
I'm gonna pick up a stick, one that seems sizable.
Mhm.
Pick it up as I'm still sitting down. Sort of raise it to the bugbear, and then point at the fire, and then point at the stick.
Okay. So he kind of looks down at it, looks at the stick, and he just kind of tilts his head and just kind of shakes his head as if to say he doesn't get it.
I'm just gonna point to the stick, point to the fire, point back to the stick, and hold it up like I'm presenting a torch, and put my hands and just move my fingers like in the shape of fire, and just look at the bugbear to see if he understands my gist.
He, with his mace, he's lowered it down to his side at this point. You see, he does a very quick turn around and looks inside, and then looks back at you to make sure you're staying in place. You see that he kind of is fighting with maybe some kind of instinct, as well as, well, doing his duty, to be honest. He takes a step back, still holding mace ready, and he just kind of motions toward the fire.
Okay. I will stand up with the stick and move very slowly towards the fire.
Okay.
While still keeping eye contact with him as I walk towards it.
Mm-hmm. So, eventually, as you get close enough, And
And I'll put my stick on the fire to gain fire.
so as you gain a archaic torch, he kind of looks at it and then he points back the way you came.
Which I'll nod at him with a singular nod.
Make a
And
perception check, by the way.
okay.
Because I'm assuming at this point Mosey's character is over there like,
Fucking look at me, you tit! Look at here! Hello!
I got a 10.
well, Mosey's stealth, to be fair, was a 9, and then he went out of it. So, as you get over here and you ignite the stick, you hold it up. As the stick is moved a little just to the right of your vision and it's burning away slowly, you kind of instinctively look to the right for a small fraction of a second, and then your natural reactive instinct kicks in and you see something in the corner of your eye and you take another look back over and you see Mosey there, obviously, his character. You see that he's currently just like stood there, pressed against the wall slightly to cover himself. What do you do, Mosey?
I'm going to do the shh sign.
Okay. So the bugbear
Which at this point,
points again back the way you came. Carry on.
which I sort of like shake myself out and look at the bugbear, give him a plain sort of like face, nod once more, and I'll take 2 steps backwards while still staring at the bugbear.
Mhm.
And take a 3rd step backwards, still looking at the bugbear before I start to turn around.
Okay.
And I notice this is like a mountain path there?
It's
Or-
it's
well,
a
is it-
it's a hillside, but there are like rocky areas.
Fair enough. And is there anything like another passageway through there that I can go, or do I need to go back the way I came?
No, it is back the way you came.
Fair enough, and then I shall proceed back the way I came.
Can I signal him before he goes, like, to go around freehand?
Instinctively, well, funnily
Yeah.
enough, out of yeah, can he leave?
So I will say, hold on. So as you were there and you just begin walking away, before you actually turn around, he would make some kind of small gesture to go around. Whether or not you get away with it is a different story. So continue along the path you choose. The bugbear does seem to be paying attention to you.
Minor illusion.
Which,
I'm gonna go a bit here to cover myself.
Mhm.
Minor illusion here, rustling again.
You see that he does kind of look up for a second, and then quickly looks back toward him.
I'm gonna make a pair of feet appear as if it was jumping from the tree.
You see as he looks up toward the tree for a second, and then he quickly looks back over toward him, looks at the tree. He's kind of like swapping between the two, and he's going.
I'm gonna just walk up to just to a random bush to just sort of like look like I'm foraging.
Okay. Make a performance check.
Okay.
So, surprisingly, there are actually a few little berries here. You're not sure if they're edible, but you kind of kneel down and start like picking at a couple of them. Kind of like push the bush out the way a little bit, dig your head in just a slight, and start picking some out, putting them in the pouch. And as he's looking towards you, he looks really confused. He turns back, looks inside, and then looks up toward the tree again. So, as you guys are doing that, you hear the sound of another voice in that same kind of racial language, but it sounds a little squeakier, and it's just coming from the cave, coming closer. And you hear the bugbear go, "Go!"
At me.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by that point, I will just. He expects me to go this way, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Which, by that point, I'll just sort of like sigh because I know for a fact I won't be able to do what this stranger's want me to do up at high, so I'm just gonna go back the way I came.
Okay. So as you begin to walk that way,
And then see if there's another way that I can make my way
okay.
around this.
As you walk off, a goblin comes walking out, just making really loud and what sounds like demanding noises. Just like, and then he's like pointing back inside, and the bugbear kind of turns around, and it's seemingly like defending itself in a weird way, with just a lot of like hand gestures that you're taking an assumption. And then as it kind of walks over toward the fire, it quickly takes a look around. It does this little kind of like sniff, and then it looks toward the bugbear. And as the bugbear kind of steps forward, he's holding his mace and looks down at it, and you see with that furrowed brow again, he just looks down. Mosey, make a stealth check, please.
Oh fuck. Nope.
Mm. Okay. So. deep. Let's see if anyone finds you. Goblins can't see for shit. Okay. And the bugbear will also give it a go. Oh, bitch! So, as the goblin and the bugbear are kind of like fighting back and forth, you see that as he makes this big, the bugbear makes this wild kind of like flailing movements while still holding onto the mace. You see that he kind of looks away as the goblin's talking, as if he's frustrated with listening to him, kind of like if your boss is like really grilling you and you're just like, oh fuck this guy. You see that he makes eye contact with you, Mosey, and as he stares at you, you notice his eyes drift away and he looks back down at the goblin, and they continue like verbally fighting with each other. Doesn't seem like the gist is up. Hello. And Connor, as you go wandering back down the path, you hear the sound of swift little feet come clacking away as Kerbals and his little raptor friend come running along. As you're running up the hillside path, you see ahead of you, Connor, if you would like to describe your character to him, because technically off the map and blah blah blah.
Hey, right, 1 second, I just need to close my door. Right, okay. Well, in front of whoever I am describing myself to, I am a human. a young-looking human at that, but in his early adulthood, if you will. He has black, medium-length hair, and he has tan skin. Shows that he's probably been out on the sea, out on the sea for a while, due to how punishing the sun can be when you're out on the sea. He's 5'8", and he has very amber eyes. He is wearing chainmail, has a sword and a shield,
Okay.
and fairly well dressed. Well, as well as you can be for someone who has chainmail, a shirt, and basic gear.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do the same?
What, me?
Mm-hmm. More so for Connor's sake, because he's never met Vernex.
I am a brass coloured dragonborn, wearing monk robes and those beads around his neck. I carry on myself a quarterstaff and a katana.
Is the katana sheathed?
Yes,
Okay.
I only draw my sword when I intend to kill.
Okay.
But then
Yeah,
again,
I've got-
you know that it's just better.
Yeah, I've just got your picture up as well, so I know it. I see the visual detail.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I will place everyone's pictures in the journals. Feel free to have a look in the party tab.
Alright. And I shall look upon you with curiosity and a little bit of concern. And I will pretty much stop dead. Well, dead still, that is, anyway.
I'm assuming I just rode in on.
Your boy.
Pretty much, as I'm climbing uphill.
Well, downhill. He's going up.
Well, downhill. Oh, well, yeah, as I'm going downhill.
Just for a quick bit of clarity, I said we'd wait over the week, but it becomes easier this way. With the benefits that you could get from the Grand Expedition, would you have signed the contract already, or would you have just spoke with them, found out where they wanted people to sign up, and just been like, okay, well, I'll do that at some point? Kirby.
Okay, right now, I honestly don't know anything about this contract, so I imagine I'd take a bit of time to read upon the contract, so I'm gonna say I haven't signed anything yet, because really I don't know what it is I'm signing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say no.
At the very least, ignoring the terms of the contract for the time being, you would have been told if you did want to join them to meet them in Windall Village within a week, and if you wanted to do a quest for them instead, if that's the way you want to go, they do have a quest system instead. The one they need right now is to scout out a cave filled with orcs, goblins, and generally everything from the Argenum Horde. Whether or not that's destroying those that are inside or just scouting, it's completely up to you. And you currently seem to have found one of the entrances. You were told there was a small mining function, but this looks more like a side entrance that you've stumbled upon.
Okay.
And you may go as you
So,
wish.
it sounds as though it's going to be a simple job and it's just a scouting, reconnaissance and stuff like that, is that right?
For now. They do want to eradicate the ones that are in here, but it's too big a job for the moment.
Okay then, so I'm going to say Varnex has not signed it yet, because he'd probably like to get a bit of a better understanding before he signs any contracts that's given to him. Get a bit of understanding. So at the moment we're going to say no. I like to know a little bit more before I eventually plan on signing anything.
Yep. Okay. So you meet a stranger on the path. You can slightly see the cave's entrance up ahead, but with the way the hill's sloping up, you can't see the goblin, Mozzie, or the bugbear at the moment.
Mhm.
But you do
So
have a
I'm just
stranger.
So I've just run into Carrick.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rein my Velociraptor to a halt. I draw a hand on my quarterstaff. I won't draw it yet. I'll just get ready and just
Seeing as he
observe
does that, I'll reach for my short sword behind me while having my shield slightly raised, and just
Just draw.
looking at you.
Fight!
Have you
Fight!
drawn it?
Fight! Fight!
I've not drawn it. I've just got my hand ready in reacting to you putting your hand on your quarterstaff.
Alright. I've got my hand on mine. I haven't drawn it yet.
I've not drawn mine either. I'm just looking at you.
I'm just taking a moment to observe Carrick, or this stranger before me. I'm taking a moment to observe the stranger before me.
And I'm doing the same.
Alright, I guess I'll speak. And you are?
I sigh with a little bit of relief, dropping my guard a little bit, and then realizing I've dropped my guard, and just raise it back up and just go, okay, it's nice that, well, I can understand you. But, well, fuck, I suppose I ought to. Oh, name's Carrick. I've only just got here, and, well, I'm trying to, well, find somewhere where I can, well, dry up and not be threatened by a bugbear or anything trying to kill me. You're the second person I've met so far. Who are you?
Take a moment. Just look at him. My name is Varnix. And I discovered this location. But yet to explain as to why you're here.
Okay, I suppose you've exchanged your name as well as me, so I suppose it's a fair exchange. I'll lower my shield, but I'll still have my backhand on my sword.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of woke up with my boat shattered into several different planks of wood that I, well, originally used to make the ship. And half of it missing, probably out at sea somewhere. Your guess is as good as mine. So yeah, I'm still trying to make where I am and what exactly everything here is. Doesn't exactly look like it's been touched by civilization at all or any form of pirates.
Alright.
That was the box.
Looks fairly rural, to be honest.
My grip relaxes a little on my quarterstaff, and I just ask, are you saying you shipwrecked here?
He says that, and I sort of like cough, and I go, and you see me utter something, but you don't quite hear what I said, and then I look to you and I just say, yes, I'm kind of shipwrecked here.
Okay, for story purposes, I know he's shipwrecked here, but Varnix does not, so I'll probably do an insight check.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know shit.
Connor, make a persuasion check.
Okay.
I believe every word you're saying.
Yeah. Like, in actual fact, like, there's kind of, maybe it's just the youth that you can kind of see in him, or just maybe there's something else there, you're not sure, but you don't think he's lying. He doesn't give you that kind of air at the moment. It doesn't seem like there's any real benefit to him to making up that kind of story, and he is completely soaked. You can see bits of sand in his hair. Like his whole outfit is raggedy as fuck. He's been through something. So you're inclined to believe him. While you two are doing that though, Mosey, what would you like to do over there? Enjoying the scenery of a bugbear and a goblin having a shouting match.
My food near them.
Okay, so are they looking at each other right now?
Yes.
Okay, that's... Okay, I'm going to rustle some leaves here.
Mhm. The goblin turns around, starts making noises.
Okay, I'm going to... When it turns around, I'm going to mage hand and like slap him on the back of the head.
Feet point choose direction. So I'm more than 30 feet away from you, cast the spell. I know for a certain that's in 30 feet, but okay, cool. So you do have a decent radius. So as it hits him on the back of the head, he will not take damage from that, as it pushes the limits of the mage hand to begin with, because technically it can't attack. As it baps him on the back of the head, you see that he very quickly turns around with the blade drawn, and make me a sleight of hand check.
Ah, fuck.
So, as the mage hand baps him on the back of the head, he very quickly like bounces in place and turns, and he sees the mage hand floating in front of him. He immediately tries to stab it. With the dagger in hand, he starts to stab into it, noticing that it's just this floating spectral thing. He looks at it confused, and then he very quickly looks around.
I'm gonna make it disappear.
Okay, make a stealth.
No, I just need to dismiss the mage hand.
Ah, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So it goes poof. So, as the goblin's looking around, you see that it's looking for you specifically, and the bugbear here, as the mage hand disappears, you see that he looks up toward where you are. This time he isn't looking specifically at you, but he's looking in that same line. And he...
Yeah, I'm behind the fence. Like, quickly duck behind.
The bugbear comes here, looks around as well. It looks like he's not really trying. It seems like he knows where you are or where you went. And the goblin, very annoyed, looks back at the bugbear, starts shouting at him again, and then points as if to say, "Go find that." And then the goblin starts to run inside. The bugbear takes a step forward, and he points in your general direction, and just
Wait, what goblin?
the goblin ran back inside.
Ah, okay. Fuck.
It looked like the goblin pointed in just the general area and basically told the bugbear, "Go find it," is what you take the assumption as. And the bugbear steps forward, looks generally around where you are, and he points back the way that Carrick has gone, as if to say, "Go."
I'm going to stealthily go here. Stay here. No, hold on. Bushes, 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 bushes. Here. Can they see me?
I will make another perception check. Boop. Nope. So is he...
No, I mean, Alec and Ronax.
Other...
I think we're too busy talking to each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's someone else there.
Nope. As you two are down the path a little bit, just talking to each other with that, tense standoff removed, the pair of you, what do you say? And Mosey, how do you try to get their attention?
I'm gonna come in closer.
Like I say, before you get any closer, at least let us spark up the conversation of what we're going to do next.
Yeah, of course. I'm
If
just,
you-
I mean, in a bit.
Yeah.
It's not.
Of course.
Yeah.
What do you have in mind of asking me, Curbsters?
Actually, I don't know. You're not here out of your own accord. You shipwrecked.
Yes, check.
I.
What continent are we even in?
I'd probably explain. These are very unusual. These are very unusual circumstances you found yourselves in. And then I'd probably explain a bit as to why I'm here. What was it? That I learned of this location of this cave entrance regarding to this great expedition. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I probably relay that back to Carrick and say
Great
that
great expedition. Sounds interesting. Is it like a sign-up sort of thing, or do you get paid, or do you have to do sort of like charity work?
Lee, what are the answers to those questions?
One second, I'm eating. Food. Nom.
I relay those exact words back to Lee.
1 second, I'm eating. Food.
I'd probably say
I sent it to you, Kirby, earlier. But long story short,
I'd probably say you probably could earn a bit of coin, and it could perhaps help you get your way back to where you need to go, since seeing as you shipwrecked.
If anything, it's actually quite ideal that I'm shipwrecked. I'll be honest with you. I was currently trying to get away where I was from originally, and just wanted to find a new way to reinvent myself, really.
as for the answer, the Grand Expedition will pay adventurers that are willing to assist them 50 gold per month. As long as you're assisting them in their endeavours. You'll also get a later determined amount equal to the services rendered. So if you do quests for them, if you do basic hunter-gatherer kind of things, they'll pay you equally to what you get. They will pay for your food, your drink, and your lodgings, as long as you are with the representative, which is Walgrim in this regard. However, if you do sign up with them, like sign the contract, the only defining feature is that you're expected to research, defend, or do anything that is within your power when you sign up with them to complete tasks required by Walgrim. So, depending on what you specialise in, but since you guys are adventurers, long and short, you'll probably be asked, go to this place, scout this, or go there, kill that. Do whatever you can to complete the mission. But you can be retired to just defend the place, be a hunter-gatherer. As long as you are contributing, they will pay your way, is the idea.
Okay, I'd probably relay the gist
Mm-hmm.
to Carrick.
Sounds a pretty sweet deal. I'm guessing this island's pretty big.
Alright, would I, Barnex, know that there are goblins in this cave?
You know that the side of the island you're on has all of the clans except for the Laughing Hands. You also would know that this cave is the southwestern camp. It used to be a mining operation of other humanoids that weren't really in the brutalistic side of things. They were just mining to get resources, and then they got taken over by the Argenum Horde, which is orcs, goblins, bugbears, everything in that relation.
Okay, so I would know that these caves would be full of mobs and stuff like that.
They
Okay.
they might be mining. You haven't been told that much. They themselves don't seem to know what they're actually doing in there. They just know that they are using it as a habitat of some kind.
Okay. Then I would imagine that I would be here as a scout, just to observe, because no one would be stupid enough to actually go into these caves on their own. So, I know that Carrick is here.
Mhm.
As for Moz's character, I don't know anything. So at the moment, I'd say I would be here as a scout to observe, and I imagine I would be waiting for other party members to arrive from this great expedition.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You know that
So,
there has been a large call that's been sent out for others to come and join. Um, Wherever you started originally, you would have been one of the very few that you encountered. It wasn't like a Ponzi scheme, here's a flyer off the street kind of thing. It was a special selection. You would have been invited.
so I know that there would be others coming at the moment.
Yes. No one that you could name yourself, but you know there
Sure,
are
and
others.
shit. I just remembered those kobolds. Carrick,
Yo, what's up?
by any chance, would you have anything that could help send a message across great distances?
Um, I hate to bust your bubble there, bud, but do I look like a spellcaster to you? I'm pretty much good with thinking on my feet when it's necessary, and I can take a hit, and I can also give back a hit. As for the arcane arts or magic, somewhat kaput, to a degree.
I take that as
To a
no.
degree, that is, anyway.
You know, you could mention your magic friend. I'm speaking as Kirby, not Varnex.
He
Okay.
he technically doesn't know his magic. He's not seen him do anything magical.
I know. I don't know about this other person.
But why? Is it to relay information about the bugbear and bugbear up ahead?
I wouldn't know anything about bugbears.
Yeah, there's a bugbear standing at some form of entrance to a cave with lots of pits of fire. Luckily, the bugbear didn't understand a word of what I was trying to communicate. I only know 3 languages, but they didn't seem to understand any, and that is including common.
Where exactly
So-
did you
Before
mention,
before we get any more on that, Mosey, what would you like to do?
I'm going to cough my lungs out. But
He
after
gets
that-
detected. Everybody run!
I draw my quarterstaff.
Bop.
I draw my sword ready.
Stabs him to
No,
death.
no, no.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that a
Mosey.
joke?
It was.
Muzzy?
I'm just gonna.
I instinctively twitch and turn.
I draw my
With-
quarterstaff.
I don't draw my sword, but I had my hand on my sword and had my shield up. And then I just look to my right at Varnex and I just go, wait, hold on a minute. I think that was the geezer who was up on the side of the mountain
Geezer?
entrance.
Thought you said you were alone. Who was this person?
I am alone. I just saw him standing at the top of the cave trying to hide and telling me not to give away his position. He seemed to be scouting it.
I imagine this individual will be part of the great expedition.
I thought he'd probably be with you. Considering
think-
you've come here to scout.
I shake my head to him, implying I thought I was alone.
I'm going to just tell them to come over.
I sort of look to Varnex and say, oh, he didn't seem to, outright attack me or anything, but... And as you're assuming he's with the Great Expedition, shall we see what this guy wants?
I'd like to approach this individual and make introductions.
You notice that currently he is crouched down behind the trees and in some bushes.
Well, if you really want, I can go up ahead. You stick behind me, just in case he does try any funny business.
I'll do that.
And I'll sort of look back as I get in front and I'll just say, but I don't want any funny business from you. I do partially trust that you're not going to try and attack me, so please refrain from doing so.
That signal to my ear, like I can't hear you because you're too far away.
And I'll start moving towards you slowly with this dragonborn behind me.
And his horned raptor, which is going clop, 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 clop.
That. And then I'll get in here. Well, I'll sort of like stand here and crouch down a little bit just to get a close, well, a face-to-face interaction and still being slightly cautious.
So,
Up.
And you are the guy who was standing up on the cliffside, well, on the hillside of this cave entrance.
Yeah, you're from the expedition as well?
No, I am shipwrecked.
I hear, I hear this an approach him and go, I am a part of the expedition. My name is Varnix, and you are?
Oh, goody. My name is... Fucking forgot my name. Hold on.
That's an interesting name.
hold it, fuck it,
Yeah.
hold on. That's my name. Believable, right?
My name is Sol. And let me just describe.
Who
Go,
is
so-
ya? What do you look like, bitch?
Yeah, so I look like a human, around 30. Like a wannabe Indiana Jones. Brimmed hat, a shovel, and a whip.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what you see.
A multi-purpose whip.
So I'm going to say, yes, so, not that. So, you know how there were two, like a bugbear and a goblin?
I knew about the bugbear, I didn't see the goblin.
Okay,
There's a
so there
goblin.
was a goblin, and I tried to do something to make them fight between one another, and it didn't go well. So the goblin went back inside, so we're going to be, yeah.
Before we
But
continue,
I found a way to sneak around, right
Before
there,
we-
and I'm going to point.
sorry, but before we continue, I'd just like to ask, Sol, do you have
Yeah.
any messaging abilities to send messages across great distances?
Lee, I'm going to need to ask something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just to a sorcerer level. No. Never mind. I can't.
You can't.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is going to be
I mean, I am a mage, but I can't send a message so far.
Hmm.
I mean, I technically could, but but the time would be up.
Okay, so, Lee,
Mm-hmm.
the way I came here,
Yep.
would the other people for the Great Expedition, would I know that they would come the same way I did, or would they come another way?
They could go another way. They could unintentionally go to the main entrance, which could be trapped. It could be full of people that are guarding the place because it's the front entrance of a mine. They could wise up just as much as you. They could be as lucky as Carrick to get to this part without even intending. Who knows?
Okay, I relay to Sol. On my way here, I passed several kobolds that were ambushing travellers. Apparently, I bear a great resemblance to their leader. I was able to bluff my way out of it. As for the others, as part of the Great Expedition, I doubt.
They
will have as
called
much luck as I did.
they called you a dragon head.
Potentially, their leader could be another Dragonborn. That's how they thought I bared quite a resemblance. Lee, would anyone else in the Great Expedition be a Dragonborn?
Plausibly, you can think of maybe at least one other person that would be
One.
A-
Okay.
a black dragonborn that might have been invited.
All right.
He's
Considering
strong.
considering how easy it was to bluff my way out of it, the other one could do the same in a similar situation. I discussed this with Sol and discussed our options, whether we should continue or probably deal with the kobolds.
We're already here. I know we're here. If we come back later, there might be more people, so let's just... I'm sure the expedition could beat up a few kobolds. Plus, you're a dragonborn, we're not. And I don't think they'll believe you if you say we're captured prisoners. So I think we should just, keep going.
Keep going. Lee, the others in the Great Expedition, will they be on their own or as a group?
Well, you guys kind of got lucky to be part of a group to begin with. They're either already at Windall Village signing contracts or figuring out what it is they're supposed to do, or they've been caught out, or they're already here and dealing with them. It could be any number of things. The contract just specified be at Windall Village within a week.
So he's saying it's too late to do much stuff, so they could already be dealing with them, is that right?
They could be, yeah. There could already be people inside scouting. They could already be maybe disguised as one of the creatures inside. There's a million and one things they could be doing at the moment. There's no definitives.
It's too late. Right, it's too late. Only way to go is forward. All right.
Yeah, so... there are two ways we can do this. Either sneak around and try to sneak in, or, pew pew, guns blazing.
Would you rather wait for the others to arrive?
You sure you want to do this? Where's your sense of adventure, man?
You do seem very overly cautious.
What a little fight
Well-
to start the day. A little tussle, a little kerfuffle.
Well, I look to Carrick and I say, well, I suppose the number has already increased. Carrick, would you care to join us, or would you rather continue on your own?
I sort of look and I just say, there's a chance that I could, get paid and join this great expedition, and if, I have credentials of, going with you guys and helping, oh hell, I might even get myself a little gig. Something to pass the time. How can I say this?
Well, if his fortune's on your side. And I look to Sol, I suppose the only way is forward.
Yes. Let's just go. Now, how do we want to do this? We want to sneak around? And
I
try
think
to pick them? Or go in, just charging in? Or we split?
I'd say we sneak in.
Okay. Then
We don't
follow
want to
me.
Okay. Do you have any prior information of how many there is, or what?
No idea, but one seemed to gone inside. The bugbear. The bugbear is inside.
Well, it's not going to be very exactly too thrilled to see me, considering, he let me live.
Yeah,
And
but
allowed me to have a torch, but... Oh, hell. What
his
could I
friend
say?
doesn't his friend doesn't seem so friendly.
Well, you never know. He might want to join us.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But let's go.
Sure. I can't say I'm the sneakiest person, but I'll try.
You guys do
What a
know.
coincidence, so am I.
You guys do know the second you finish your conversation and you look toward the cave, no one's guarding it.
There doesn't seem to be anyone standing at the entrance.
Yeah, but the way they looked, it seems like they're preparing an ambush. So
Okay,
let's
so-
outsmart their outsmarting.
Okay, I suppose.
Everyone make a stealth check with that.
Okay.
Ooh, that's new.
Oh wow.
That's new. What?
Ooh,
Jeez.
That is new.
I like that.
That is new.
Monks were still their shit.
I find that relatively ironic considering the guy that's going clink clank is just as stealthy.
Crank, crank, go the trolleys.
Is the dinosaur coming with us?
My plan was, I'd probably just slap the dinosaur to go in one direction as a distraction
Mm.
when it came to it.
Okay.
So my plan is, I'm saying this as me, not Varnex, is maybe like slap the dinosaur to go in one direction, like this, so it could draw attention away from us, because like Lee said, it's basically as common as a chicken, so I'm not really attached to it.
Mm.
All I'm saying is Rachel would hate me right now considering you basically just made it sound like you want it to die for nothing. Usually pets do die with me, it's great.
Rachel's not here. Rachel's
they
not
do.
here.
She's not here now, she
It'd be
can't
quite-
punish me.
It'd be quite funny if she looks on, well, pretty much tunes in randomly as you say that again.
So, as you guys sneak around, the raptor is just clumping about, by the way. Would you like to make it a stealth check as well?
I just roll another stealth check for me.
For the raptor. It has a sheet under party allies.
I got it. Stealth.
If it doesn't have a stealth, it's just dexterity flat.
Dexterity flat.
Yeah, so hover over dex and click.
Yep.
Not bad. 17.
I'm calling my raptor Nugget.
Is that 'cause you're about to feed it to someone?
Oh damn, that's dark.
So, as it appears, as you guys are strutting along, even the guy with the clanking armor, Nugget makes these little pitter-patter steps. You can still kind of hear it, but it's very quiet, and there's a rustle of leaves every now and again, but for the most part, you guys don't make any, like, look at me kind of sounds. You're very quiet, surprisingly. What next?
I need to be right back one moment. Check on my food.
Mm-hmm.
Can we stop for today?
Yeah. Can do. To be fair, that allows some time for our dear boy next week.
Yeah.
I assume you guys' intention is to go through the cave entrance.
Yeah, I think so.
Okie dokie. Well,
When we make it to the cave entrance, I'd like to make like a perception check in case I could hear anything.
well, we will save that for next week.
Oh, is that it for this week?
Yes, Mosey is not feeling too good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go
Okay, my dude.
put the soup in the fridge and then shower and sleep.
No,
Yeah.
I do hope you get better, my dude.
Yeah, just it's office air conditioning
Mm.
and it's super hot outside, and
Oh God, yeah.
the combination of the two just fucks me up. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Good
Okay.
night.
Good night, my dude.
See ya.
Yeah.
We'll have to tell Connor when he comes back that game's over.
Yes. Next week. Well, to be fair, between now and next week, I'll have spoken with Jeff, hopefully, and we'll get his character all prepped and ready, and we'll dive into the cave.
Okay, I think I've updated my character sheets
Mhm.
with stats and all that. I think it's done. Yeah, I think it's done.
Mm.
So I'm gonna say that's it. I did not know at the start everything was a 0.
Nah. Oh, you have your equipment to put together too.
Yeah, I've done everything. I just added my quarter stuff. That's it. I'll probably have a few throwing darts in case.
No, you've got all of your stuff from your background as well, and your class.
Yep.
That you have to add, because you literally just have your katana at the moment. On the sheet, I mean.
Mm.
If you scroll down to the bottom.
Yeah, I've got it there. I just wanted to keep that katana because that
No,
was...
no. Sorry. What I'm saying is, on the sheet, you literally just have your katana. You have nothing else. So if it ever comes to a time where you're like, oh, I want to climb this wall with my 50 feet of rope, but it's not on your sheet, so you don't actually know if you've got it.
I have added my quarter, so I just clicked it. Oh no, that's you. Oh, sorry.
That's an attack.
There we go.
I'll
Well, our plan is to keep the quarterstaff. I just wanted to keep the katana because that was like the most memorable thing from my sessions with the others. So I'll probably just say I met an enigmatic dwarf, and he helped me make this katana.
I mean, pretty close to reality.
Yeah. I like to keep something from my time with the others.
Yeah, hell yeah. To be fair, everyone else got a magic thing or another, so
yeah,
you of course get to keep one.
Yeah, I mean nothing else happened. The actual murder mystery party or the stuff like that. So I'll just say I met an enigmatic dwarf and blah blah blah. How
Well,
old was Connie to be?
Oh, it could be a minute with him. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go and make some food before it gets too late.
Hold up!
Oh God.
Oh, guess who's back?
I
Yeah,
could
game.
hear everything that you're saying. I got a wireless headset.
Okay, game's over.
Yeah, I got that. I heard everything apart from what Lee said something and then he said he will be a minute.
Mm.
Was that aimed at me?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I kind of said goodbye to Mozzie in spirit as he said goodbye.
Goodbye.
I was in the kitchen, just putting my scampi on my plate, going, "Bye, Mozzie."
Goodbye.
Alright, I guess that's it. So I guess we'll continue next week.
Yes.
Well then,
Bye.
How did you find today, Curbsters?
it was fun. I'm surprised I bluffed out of that situation.
Like,
Before I guess what?
like I said, like you fit the visual bill, and
Yeah.
you know, like I said,
It helped.
I had a starter for everybody.
It helps to have a few drinks to get into role playing.
Soon you won't even need a drink to do it.
Yeah, man.
Oh no, I need drinks.
Not with me, you won't.
Nor me.
Well, that was a
Nor
fun.
me.
That was a fun first session to this. So thank you, Lee.
No problem. I do
Alright,
hope
so I
it
guess-
continues.
I do too.
As a disclaimer, I will do probably something stupid at some point, and it will be very memorable.
I will note as well, there's going to be a couple of additional rules or changes or otherwise. First and foremost, because this place is a terrestrial, kind of like, it's basically like a large hunting ground in some cases. Some enemies, mostly dinosaurs, which are going to be a constant thing around here, there will be a taunt system. So instead of the creature constantly doing like perception or insight or something, I may introduce a whole thing with a taunt bar for you guys and blah blah blah. So like Connor, for example, because the amount of times he attacks and damage and whatever, the thing might be like, okay, well he's big, I'm either going to eat him or I'm going to avoid him, depending on what kind of creature it is. If it's like a large T-Rex, it's like, oh, bigger meal, nom. If it's like a horned raptor, they're going to be like, nope, fuck that guy, see ya.
So basically, if none of us are acting in character, you'll make sure that we do in our part.
No. It's only if you guys are fighting a creature that has a low intelligence, and if you, for example, are doing like a lot of attacks, that's drawing more attention to yourself, and the creature's more likely to go after you, or less likely, depending on its prerogative. Nothing to do with character stuff. As for your character stuff, though, I do award inspiration for very cool or in-character things. If you guys want something specific for your character, for your story, whatever, tell me it no matter how stupid it sounds. For example, Connor has drowned a dude with a spell that has no capacity to do so. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, has any of us earned inspiration this session?
You guys all start with inspiration.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Yes. Technically, this is like a 0 session. Well, session 0 to a degree.
Yes.
Because as we haven't got Jeff here, this
It's
is
a
just the
preliminary.
part start. It's a preliminary just to get the ball rolling, if you will, rather than
Oh, I've
than
already
us
given
just
it to you.
waiting on Jeff.
Made a note in Discord.
I've
That's not
already
inspiration.
I've already ticked
He's already
inspiration.
given it to you.
Because I didn't see a kit. I didn't see it ticked.
I was going to say, you do know how to tick it in, right?
Oh yeah, I do, but I didn't see it
Nice.
ticked. I forgot.
No, that was just me giving a general question, not to mock or anything.
Oh, no,
'cause
I
a
do.
few times
I do know.
Yeah.
Like it's like an Ouroboros dragon, like eating its own tail.
Yeah, boy.
yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't see it ticked, so I just wrote in Discord that to make a note for next week.
But yeah, Kirby.
Hmm?
You know how creative you can get on Phasmo. Feel
Do
free to
that
just
here.
let your imagination run wild with the
Do it.
sessions, because as Lee said, on one of our sessions, I used a spell that you can't technically actually kill someone with, and actually killed someone with it outright.
The power of the the drowning rule.
Yeah, do you know Shape Water, the spell, right?
Yeah.
I threw a flask of water at an enemy.
A
Basically, basically water bended this water that was floating in the air into an orb around his head, and as soon as he moved out, I redirected the water around his head again, and then forced the water to go through all of his open orifices, like his nose, ears, his eyeballs, and to the degree when he could no longer keep his mouth shut, he pretty much opened his mouth and the water went through his mouth, and I just held the water in his throat and basically drowned him from the inside.
It was
I
quick.
I know how imaginative you can get in D&D. I can remember one time quite a while back with my first character with Kieran. I tried to be stealthy. I grappled someone. And someone saw me. We started initiative and stuff like that. I was lead. I got the highest roll. So the round started with me with someone grappled in my arms, and Ryan was like, break his neck. Kieran was like, no, unless you get a roll 20, unless you get a 20 in strength, yes. I rolled a 20. So
Next
I broke.
up.
Kieran
Yeah.
was not happy.
Lee rewards things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
literally, it's a pretty good feeling.
Varnex is like my second character. My first one, Eridred, was mostly for like shit and giggles when I played with the others. But Varnex is like the first one with like a proper background that I'm playing, so I'm trying to be lawful, neutral, instead of chaotic.
That's not going to last, I guarantee you.
Plus, knowing my general demeanor and background, I'll probably be as chaotic. With the last group, I kept trying to steal the deck of many things from Rachel to her dismay. I eventually got them, and when she found out, I was like, "Bitch, I will make it rain cards." And it worked. I got a Ryan screwed us all up, and I eventually drew a card that allowed us to undo a moment in history. I undid the session, so I time traveled. So
You
you
monster.
it helped.
I think the one thing that I love the most in one of the campaigns I've done, and that's getting to like the double digits, by the way, the amount of campaigns I've done, and it's kind of scary.
Wow.
It was a home game as well. One of my technically family, I guess by this point, it's a long story. He picked out the wish card from the deck of many things. It was literally their first campaign in the home game. We're on like 3 now. 2 of them died, but anyway, he got the wish card, and I said to him, "You lucky son of a bitch." But as similar to how I will run wish in this, if you ever get lucky enough to have it, you have 25 words to describe your wish, and it can be anything you want. You can be as detailed as you want, but it has a monkey's paw rule if it's not the actual wish spell. So I can determine it in any way I choose, as long as it adheres to what is written. He wished for 15,000 versions that knew how to fly of his NPC companion, who was a knight that was very loyal to him to a fault, and kind of stupid a lot of the time. He also wanted them to be hyper intelligent. See, the funny thing is, that was one of the campaigns that died, so for the sake of the long and short, he did get 15,000 of them that knew how to fly, but the thing is, the way he intended it was, they have wings. It's more, they know how to make flying machines, but they don't have the resources. And he did get 15,000 of them that were hyper intelligent. The thing is, eventually they come to realise that he wasn't that smart himself. So they kind of took over the world, but they left him in the dust. They immortalised him though, because they did bring him into existence, as well as the original, because the original. But the long and short of it is, I just love how fucked that campaign was, because before they ever got to the point where they took over the world, he got them all to make boats to get ready to do sea invasions and make catapults and the like to invade every other country. But as the main party journeyed, eventually he picked up another card, and it was a unique card I added to the deck, because it wasn't just the base deck, it was an extended deck, and it's called the Sand card. Now, the Sand card is very literal. He picked up the Sand card, and it was basically like a Thanos snap for him only. He got obliterated into 1,000 pieces of sand that a quick wind scattered him across a sandy field. And until every single grain of his now destroyed body was recovered, he no longer existed. So,
like from memory as well.
No, still could remember him. It's just his form could never be rekindled. His soul was scattered, his body could never be remade. He couldn't be resurrected until all of the pieces were put together. If you missed a single one, you could never bring him back.
I take it the rest of the party could not be asked to gather all the great stuff.
The campaign kind of died before they even got close. They were just like, well, guess he's fucking gone then.
I can remember my campaign. I think I only drew 5 cards. I can remember Rachel was the DM at the time because they switched to Kieran or something. I can't remember. There was like a talking animal, like a talking dog called Timothy,
That's
and it
so
was
them.
cursed. Yeah, it was cursed. So it was originally a different form. So in the end, I was like, but Mist, that was Rachel's character. Was like, but Mist, potentially drawing a certain card could undo Timothy's curse. So I kept trying because this was at the time when Rachel's character had the deck because she cheated. She was being very meta. She knew what the power. She knew what the deck could do and refused to share it. So I was like, but technically, potentially, if Timothy drew the right card, then yeah. Then she was like, you know what, fine, you draw a card. And guess what card I drew? It destroyed all my magic it erased all my magic items.
You're just there like,
And,
draw! Oh shit!
and Rachel's character had like +6 perception, so every time I tried to steal it, she had +6. It was so unfair.
Back the fuck off, bitch. I see what you're doing.
Eventually, I was able to Eventually, I was able to steal the deck. You know how I did it?
Wait,
Roll
she was
20.
just-
I rolled a natural 20.
You
That's the
saucy.
only way. As soon as I got it, I ran.
Bar Queen. Oh, that's to live my dreams. Picks up Void. Well, fuck.
Fortunately, I did not know what Void could do at that time. In the end, at that time, ignorance was bliss.
Yes.
So there came a time where Ryan aggroed like 30 Sahara and fish people, and the entire session was us just trying to survive. So I was like, this calls a bit of drastic measures, so I kept drawing cards whenever it was my turn. The first card I drew was, I don't know what card it was, but it was like a meteorite, and we did not know what it did because nothing happened. In the end, everyone was like, Kirby, what did you do? What does the meteorite do? We did not know. And later on, I drew a second card. It was a scales, which allowed me to undo a moment of history. So I undid the session, so I time traveled back to the start. And I just shook Ryan's character. I was like, you almost killed us all.
You love it, you whore.
And then the last time...
the comment is, if you single-handedly defeat the next hostile monster or group, you get an XP enough to level.
Oh. Yeah, it wouldn't say it does.
No. Not against 40 Sahagin.
No. No, the last time, Kieran was the DM at the time, but then he switched with Rachel. Then Kieran was playing, and his character was a dwarf, I think.
He loves himself
In
some
the end, I
dwarves.
was like, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? Pull a card. And the card he drew was, he lost every single piece of gold he had,
Oh.
and his character just gave me the finger.
Ta-da!
And his character just gave me the finger. And that was the last bit with the deck until the campaign was cancelled.
That's a shame. I mean, at least you got through enough of the cards.
Yeah, but to be fair, it saved our lives despite Rachel whining.
I mean, I would too. I know what that fucking deck can do.
I don't. Ignorance is bliss.
It only has positive things.
The funny thing is, Critical Role Grog, the Goliath Barbarian, had the deck. In my campaign with Rachel, I was a Goliath fighter who also had Craven Edge. I was so surprised at the similarities between my character and Grog.
Give me like 2 minutes to type a thing.
Hey Kirby, one other fond memory I have of a session I did before, and this was a session when Lee was a player.
Alright.
A selected few in our group was invading a riverside set-up fortification, which was outside of the castle we were defending. And we were like, you know what, we need to make a counterattack.
I feel like I
And
remember
the
this.
person was like, we need you guys to be our spearhead on this. And I was like, okay.
It's like,
So we
no.
inspected this side camp, and we're like, how are we going to get across? And the person in our group, one of the people in our group, was like a warlock, and they were like, oh, I can give us all water breathing so we can swim across
That
underwater
entire
unnoticed. And as we got ashore, we had an idea beforehand, being like, do any of you, by any chance, know polymorph? And there was two of us who were like, yeah. And one person was like, I can twin spell it. And it was like, okay. And so we had this idea to turn three out of the 5 members of our party into a certain animal. And it was like, well, creature. And it was like, okay, this will be the plan. You three will cause the scene of charging straight upon their shoreline, and us two will be the ranged magic support as you guys are causing carnage, and will create even more carnage.
You might
So
get a
upon this-
surprise visitor in a couple of minutes, just saying. I'm going to go do dinner prep. I will be back in a second. Feel free to keep talking
Okay.
about me.
Yeah,
I'll be back in a second because I really need to pee.
God damn it, Kobe. It's good.
Just one second.
What a nerd. Has to pee. Oh my god, we're talking about D&D. Get over
I
it.
said at the start, I've been drinking quite a bit. That's what
Fair
fluids do. They go in, they come out.
Do you shake it all about?
You do the hokey cokey and turn around.
That's what it's all about, man. I mean,
I don't do
Yeah.
the hokey pokey. It's too powerful.
Oh, mate.
sounds like weak bitch talk to me, but okay.
Oh, you want to talk. Alright, bye.
Very bad. What have you got for dinner there?
Some chicken drummer things. I'm pretty sure it's basically just chicken breast. Potatoes and some beans.
Nice. I just had scampi chips and salad.
I'm a simple man.
Same.
What the fuck was that?
Right. See you in a mo.
Yes, I shall be right back. I would go do dinner prep. Burbalicious. Burbalicious, burbalicious. I'm about to get some snacks. My back. Ow. I do not have exercise in my bones.
Alright, I'm back from urinating.
Welcome back.
Yeah, my toilet's right next to my bedroom, so I'm very quick.
Fair enough.
So, you were saying, your group polymorphed 3 out of the 5 members?
Yep, 3 out of the 5 members of our group into a certain creature. But as we got to the shoreline, do you know what the enemy was? This enemy composed of goblins, orcs, kobolds, you name it, sort of like orcish creatures and such. Were greeted by 3 aquatic T-Rexes that just came out of the water out of nowhere and just
Okay.
stormed this camp.
I have to ask,
T-Rexes.
was Nix a member of this party?
No.
Oh.
Funnily
Oh.
enough,
That's funny.
guess who was involved in this session?
I'm
Who
guessing
was
Rachel.
No,
No?
it's the guy you're yet to meet, Jeff. He was the poor soul who had to sit through and listen to our ideas as he DM'd us lot turning 3 people into T-Rexes, storming this small camp, which were partly prepping to invade because they sent their main force to the bridge, which we collapsed.
Remember
And they
again,
spent
who is Jeff?
Yeah. Jeff, he is the guy who wasn't here tonight, who will be joining us next week.
Okay. Do I know this guy? Did I play D and DVD with him or?
No, yeah, no, you don't. It's
Oh,
why he was the guy who DM'd for me and Lee ages ago.
okay. Yeah. Right now, I'm
Yeah,
just trying to make an effort to branch out my friends group because
yeah,
I'm mostly friends with my high school friends. Right now, everyone in this D&D party are me friends of friends.
yeah. That will soon be a different case, mate. Don't you worry, because I've known Jeff due to the fact that Lee invited me to my very first Roll20 D&D session.
Cool.
And that was my very first one because my first one was with Lee quite a few years ago. I'd even like to say about maybe maybe 6, 7 years ago.
Oh,
And it was on through verbal, fully verbal, and Lee occasionally would share screen. I think it was on Skype, and he would open up Paint and just draw where we were going and made little dots which represented us.
okay. The first time I played D&D was with my friends, like
Mm.
Kieran, Knox, Ryan, and Rachel and Chloe.
Yeah,
And there, I just mostly played as myself, Goliath, fighter, chaos, neutral. I
yeah.
tried to play like nice, like I didn't want to kill everything in my path. But then Kieran was the DM, and he said, Kirby, you're chaotic neutral. Act like it. Since then, I became a bit of a megalomaniac.
That's fair enough. I was gonna say I normally like to play neutral because you're a lot more free.
Hmm,
Chaotic neutral just means that you do slightly more selfish slash chaotic things. But
yeah,
neutral is the best of both worlds. You can decide to be either nice, or you can just decide to, well, just be a little selfish for once,
yeah. My
because you
second
have no inclinations to be loyal and such.
neutral is the best grey area, but then when
Yeah.
Rachel tried to do her own campaign, I tried to be a human wizard who was chaotic good. But after two
Ooh,
sessions, after that set, after that, after like 2 sessions, the campaign was cancelled.
that's
Then
fair
Lee and
enough.
then Lee invited me this, and I became Varnex, who was a lawful neutral. So I tried to be good, but things tend to get out of hand.
Well, things will get out of hand, but the only thing I will say on that one is if you want to keep true to the lawful part, what you can do is instate your own self truths slash things that you want to keep to. But on the neutral side of things, you can just be like, as Lee said, that won't stick for long, especially with the group you're with.
Mm.
If there comes times when people outweigh your, well, outvote you and do things their way, you end up being like, yeah, you fall to peer pressure and you just go along with it.
Yeah,
you
like
you won't be happy about it, but
oh
you
I
end
know,
up going along with
oh I know, like Varnex has a quarterstaff and a katana. Varnex is
it.
only going to draw his katana when he intends to kill, and
Yeah.
that again that depends on the situation. It's funny, Varnex is like the first like role playing character I've done. The other,
Yeah.
Eredred, was just like shits and giggles to mess with the group.
Yeah.
This time I've got like a backstory and all that.
Nice.
And
I've
I
told
and,
Lee my backstory, but I've not fully written it up yet. I've got it on Word currently, and I'm adding to it,
oh that's what I
which
did.
is yeah. I've been doing that since the start of this session slash before the session started.
So long as like your backstory is in your mind and you have a general gist of how it goes, then yeah, just tell Lee.
Yeah, I've
But
been planning this character for like 3 months
mhm, me, I just
because yeah, Karen, sorry.
oh sorry, you go.
All I was gonna say is because every so often when you get into playing D&D a lot and you have multiple sessions and times where you get close to dying, a few times you'll get to the habit of sometimes where if you do actually die and it's like, oh shit, I've got to make a character.
Like a last
After that, you get to the point where you start partly planning when you have a few um, well, pretty much what's the word for it?
Last will and testament.
Let's go with that. And you're sort of like, it makes you think. You're like, oh shit, I almost died. I may actually have to think of a character as a backup in case Lee actually does kill me outright. So you pretty much get to a point sometimes where you just explore. Like I go on Pinterest a lot, and I'll just look at D&D ideas, and I'll just be like, "That's a cool idea for a class." Or I'll just randomly be at work, daydream, and I'll be like, I'll just imagine something quite cool, and I'll be like, "Wonder if this is a class." And I'll look at classes that match it. I'll be like, "Wonder if I can make this a thing." And then I just have make up backup characters due to the fact I've had really random ideas or visuals of something that I like the look of. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Oh,
Let's make
I
that a
ne-
character I do.
I never thought of having a backup character because I've wanted to do a Dragonborn monk for a while. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing now. And he's a bit of a
But
loner. He's got a
I will
backstory.
just say this: you only need to do that is if you ever have that sort of like close encounter to death.
A near-death experience.
Yeah.
Oh.
But other than that, if you do die for the first time ever and it catches you by surprise, Lee will be like, "Yeah, you need to make a new character." But aside from that, don't. The one thing I will always say is my advice is, when it comes to characters, it's good to have it be invest, but to also not fully sink your heart into it because at any moment Lee can just decide to throw a curveball
Just do
of
a
where
fact.
a situation of where something will kill you outright, and he hopes that you make the decision to avoid it.
Or to really,
Sometimes,
or to
yeah.
like really
So
annoy. Yes, or just to really annoy Lee. Just have a
yeah,
backup character whose sole purpose is to resurrect your old character.
you say that, but Lee actually want. Do you want to know something funny? In my first ever campaign that I did with Rachel, Chloe, and Kieran for the first time, um, pretty much, yeah, I think, yeah, Aaron was a part of it as well. This campaign that Lee did for us, in the second ever session we all ever did together, the second session, Lee basically killed my character.
Second session.
Yeah, the second session killed my character.
How'd that happen?
Not intentionally, but my character, I went with a homebrew class, and it was called Demon Blight. So basically, I was afflicted with basically like a form of vampirism, but in the form of a demon. And I had an infected limb which was demonized, and I could channel anger slash hate into it to manifest it into a weaponized form, and I've become slightly monstrous. So I made that as a class, and it was like I've been cursed with like a demon blight, and I wanted to go to like a play. We come across this mage who was famous across the this place that Lee had because she was one of the four heroes that was entrusted by a archangel who was sent here for a mission to find four heroes, which was mine, Kieran's, and Chloe. I mean, Aaron's old characters.
Mhm. Yep.
And Rachel's old character was a mage, and she was gifted in the arts of being able to do plenty of things. But she knew this ritual that could cleanse demon blight, but she said there was a slight risk to it because
Slight
depending
risk
on
that
how
you might
much
die.
yeah, she was like, depending on how much the demon blight has taken over you, it might just cleanse you altogether.
So
Meaning
Rachel
that
killed you.
pretty much Rachel's old character, who is now a famous mage, basically performed this ritual to cure me, but outright purified me and purified me out of existence. And that was the second session. And everyone was like, no. And I was like, oh, damn. And he was like, well, that happened. And then Lee messaged me on the side, being like, "Are you wanting the party to find a way to revive you? Because there is a way." And I was like, "No, I'm fine with this because I actually have a spin-off idea." And he was like, "Okay, I'm interested." I went, Callagher had a friend growing up, and his friend departed a while back, but said he'd wanted to meet him again at some point. And then we made it into law that apparently my new character heard that my old character went to this certain place. He went looking. Then he found out basically this great mage was trying to cure him of this demon blight that he got infected with, and basically got killed during the ritual. Which I made my new character, very sorry, very mopey, and very sort of like, "Oh fuck you guys, you basically walked him into his own death. How fucking dare you? He was like a brother to me."
Alright.
And then later on, when my new character got accustomed to the party, Lee basically revealed an item which could revive my old character back to life.
And completely
But
disregard the new character.
yeah, and he was like, basically you'd go on a quest with a bunch of other NPCs that you knew from your past, who grew up in the village around you slash their connections. So Lee did all this for me, and we got this item called the Coffin of Revival. All it required was an item slash belonging that belonged to the old character. Luckily, I had a bandana that belonged to the first character. Put it in the coffin, and then it revived my old character. So I had two characters technically at that point.
So
But the
you
only
had to
problem
roleplay.
was there was only one problem. That character wasn't fully usable because that character did not level up at all after I died or anything. So I
So
was like level, I think it was 8 or something,
level 8
and
and
and my original character was like level 3.
so
So
I
yeah,
guess
there is a way that you can revive your character technically, but
so I guess
yeah.
the other party members were like, we'd rather hang out with the other guy because he's
Not
very
really.
okay.
They were like, bring back Caligo, yes. And Mike, and we at that point later on, we became quite famous little group of adventurers, and we got our own little like group house. And my first character just went around living there technically, and just recovering from the fact that he been outright revived after like a couple of years or so after being well purified.
I can remember like the character I'm playing now. That's the first proper character I'm role playing. So when
Yeah,
I introduced him with the other party members,
yeah.
I had to role play, and one of the sessions was going to be a murder mystery, but it was like they're going to a hotel. There's like a murder mystery theme. So everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna do that," and I was like, "I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go off and do stuff and do that." So the first time ever, I do a bit of role playing, do my own thing. I make a bit of progress in that story arc, then it gets cancelled because
It's life.
Ollie and yeah, life. So now
That is what it is.
yeah. So basically, I'm going to keep that storyline for this campaign, and the katana that my character has, what Lee's done is one of the subclass for monks is Way of the Ninja that he's introduced is basically you can make your own katanas and stuff like that. So
Okay, this is pretty cool.
so Ollie, who was playing in our group, he had a like a rare ore or stuff like that to make blue metal.
Okay.
So he and I worked together to make a really fancy blue katana.
He was an artifier, if I remember, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. So
Yeah,
we act-
because I have done a one shot with Ollie once before. That was when Lee did a League of Legends themed one.
yeah, so we actually spent a bit of time making that. So
Okay.
a bit of story progress. So I'm really happy about that. But then the campaign got scrapped. So
Yeah.
I asked Lee, could I keep my +1 katana?
Yeah,
And he's,
that's fine. Which
yeah,
you're
he said,
starting level 3, and it's a +1 katana, so it's not game breaking and majorly crazy.
no. So if I ever explained my katana, I just said I had help. I had some help making it by an enigmatic dwarf.
In one of Lee's campaigns, I introduced a character from a one shot that I did with Lee a while back. And I was like to Lee, I was like, because meanwhile, my Lee sent my second character on an adventure to get this revival coffin. Meanwhile, it just left me to go on this side adventure, and where I had to go would have took me a while to get back to the party. And then the party got dimensionally warped to a different plane of existence. So that made things complicated to reunite with the group. So Lee said, "Would you like to make a temporary side character just to roam with this party for a little while until you get Dazdan back with the group?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "What have you got any ideas?" And I was like, "Wait, Lee, can I do an idea? Can I do a crazy idea?" And he's like, "Hit me with crazy. I like crazy." And I was like, "Do you remember that one shot I did a while back with so and so?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "At the castle." And he's like, "Yeah, with the vampire." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can I bring that character into this?" And he went, "You want to bring that character into this?" And I went, "Yes." And came the existence of Grug. Grugg.
Grug.
And Grug was a Kumakai,
What's
which
a
is a
Kumakai?
homebrew class, and a Kumakai is basically a walking, talking bear
Man
who
bear.
was, yeah, pretty much, who was dumb as anything, but very strong and had a good sense of innocent-based justice, and was a very lovable but simple, overgrown bear. And
talking about Grog,
yeah,
are we?
yep. So yeah,
Pretty
and
If
I was able.
literally, if
well,
you just
was
said
able
he
to
was he was a
introduce-
bear, I would have been like, oh, Grog.
Yeah, but yeah, I was explaining to Kirby about how, because Kirby was like, told me about how he wanted to bring his old character into this one, and I said, Lee can do these things with absolute ease, and I just gave the example of Grug, which that was really fun to play on my one shot, and to bring it into the campaign was just hilarious. And
Yeah,
it made me and Chloe a dynamic duo because she was a little elf and she would ride me in combat. Because I would go on all fours and basically we would be bear cavalry, and it was amazing. I was an armored bear, literally.
basically Trinket from Critical Role.
Pretty much, yeah. But I had the ability to stand on 2 feet and I could talk. Is that or is that not awesome?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I never said it wasn't.
I know. I'm just saying it just for the self brag because I'm just getting I've just got a smile on my face right now just remembering it.
Smile from ear to ear.
Yeah, I love all the good memories I've had on D&D. I've had some sad ones of where it's been like a session that hasn't lasted. Like me and Mozzie recently, we were doing a session that Jeff was hosting, but we literally did one session of it before about a month went on of where no session happened because various things of life and also a couple of power outages that the other members of the group had constantly, and it kind of
Killed the vibe.
got a bit to the point where Jeff was like, yeah, things have gotten a bit more busier for me than I thought they would on a Tuesday, and I can't see myself making enough time for this anymore. So I'm sorry, is everyone wanting to just be done with this? Because I'm going to be struggling. So it's fine, no need to worry. So our session got kind of kaput after one session and then waiting a month to play it.
Yeah, I've had time where my computer would completely just not work,
Yeah.
and I had to do Discord on my phone, and Roll20 on my phone as well. I was doing D&D on my phone. It was not a good day.
Other than with
Yeah, I've tried that before, and that's not too fun.
other than with D&D Beyond, which isn't, as far as I'm concerned, that great anyway. It's never good doing it on your phone. It's so fucking shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back
Yeah.
to washing dishes. I will be right back.
yeah,
Alright,
okay.
I'll have the dishes.
Hmm. But generally, most of the time with Lee's campaigns, I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've had some fun. Like I said, I'm trying to branch out, like play more with other people that I know of.
Oh hell yeah! It's been a while since we've hanged, and it's even more fun that we get to do a D&D session together.
Yeah. I haven't played Phas in ages.
Yeah. I haven't either, but from what I've seen recently, they've been releasing games similar, very much similar concept to what Phasmophobia is, but the jump scares are a lot more extreme.
Yeah, they've added so much to Phas. They've added a whole bunch of ghost types and stuff like that. It's it's nothing like what it used to be before,
Yeah.
but still, I don't know. And like I said, my computer has been kicking up a fuss. I haven't been on Steam in ages, and someone hacked my accounts, installed 200 quid on my account, so I had to change passwords.
Oh, fucking.
So let me see if I can find out. I'm gonna try and log into Steam, see how many hours I've logged into it. First, I need to find my new passwords because I have to write them all down.
Yeah.
Go.
Which I had a similar situation with my Steam, but luckily, I had pretty much with the whole, well, situation of my card details, I pretty much unremembered it, and yeah, and changed my password. And funnily enough, I think someone did try to buy something, but the good thing was that my card actually expired, so they weren't able to get anything out. Because, well, yeah, I hadn't updated my my credentials on Steam,
Yeah,
and they weren't able to get anything out because it was an expired card.
yeah. Well, the thing is, I actually bought at that time. I bought like a classic old PSP, and I
Oh,
had to, and I wanted to mod it, so I installed some like custom firmware and stuff like that to run like other software. Like
yeah.
if you downloaded the PS1 ROM, if you
Mm,
downloaded the software, it could play it on them.
yeah.
So I followed tutorials on YouTube and stuff like that. The link said it was fine, but then a few days later, I got a text from my bank that says there's been some unusual activity, and that's the only thing I could think of. I mean,
Yeah. I was gonna say, unfortunately, with those sort of sites, you'll probably get it's a prime market for sort of like hackers
yeah,
and sort of like scammers and stuff because they can through sites like that and back ways they can find hyperlinks to more or less be able to access well your account and stuff through it.
I know. Either way, like the software works. It does what I
Yeah.
wanted it, but still. So basically, I had to cancel my card, get a new one, and change passwords for everything.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on Steam. Oh, that's not much. I only done 66 hours in Faz.
I don't
And
even remember. Go on now.
and 69 Dead by Daylight.
Oh, 65 .1 hours on Faz.
I haven't played games on my PC in ages. I've just been doing stuff like PS5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I was gonna say, I don't have an additional console, so I just mainly play PC nowadays. Plus, I spent almost 3,000 on it, so it'd be crazy not to play it.
Mm. Well, I haven't been on PC because, I got hacked. And when I tried to do
Yeah,
Roll20, it kept crashing, so I just done a factory reset. It seems to be working.
yeah. Factory resets normally do it.
Yeah. Windows 11, it's an annoying bitch.
Yeah, I've heard that. Windows 11 is not the greatest.
Ryan hates it.
Yeah, I've not actually installed it yet. I know a guy, Sava, who you've played a couple of Phasmo games with. Um, he installed it and he regretted it because he's like, "Fuck, this is actually pretty shit."
We need to arrange something on Halloween. Do like a bunch of like scary games and a bunch of drinks.
You can do. I'd be down for it.
Like a lot has happened since we last played. My dad died in January.
Oh fuck, shit.
You know, since
Sorry,
then,
man.
I don't know. It was several months ago. Since then, I've been, I don't know. But in the meantime, I've learned I really love the taste of Disaronno, so I've been drinking that a lot.
Oh, I love a cheeky bit of Desiree. I've not had it in ages because that
That's
was
like
my go-to drink before I got into gin.
gin. I'm not
Yeah.
really a gin person. It's quite dry for me. But me, I love Disaronno. I love something sweet.
I mainly drink the sweet, sort of like the more fruity gin. I
Yeah.
like some dry gin, but not all of it because sometimes it can be a bit too, yeah, tongue in cheek.
Yeah. I like fruit ciders. Like they're okay.
I
But the
can't
thing,
drink cider that much anymore. It makes me too bloated.
yeah.
It
But for me,
sounds me.
to get pissed quick, I just drink Disaronno.
Yeah, Disaronno is good.
Yeah. I am a bit of like a shy and awkward person, so the better way to roleplay for D&D, I have a couple of drinks beforehand.
Oh yeah. I don't know why. I took quite well to roleplay because originally I think the only way I first got into role playing was that Lee got our old sort of like little group that we had of where we all our gaming group together to play a game which was a bit unorthodox because we mainly played League and a few other games, but we never really played anything fully together because I'd branch out to other like shooters and stuff like that. Lee did a lot of solo player games, and then yeah, our only common ground was like League or I can't remember what else we played, but yeah.
Overwatch?
And Lee came up with this. I know I didn't play Overwatch. I think Lee did. I can't remember, but yeah. Um, Lee found this game called Monster Brawl. Have you heard of it?
Monster Brawl.
No, not
D
Brawl. Prom.
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 Monster Prom. Is that like a Jackbox grain game?
No, it's basically a dating sim combined with Cards Against Humanity. That's the only way I can use to describe it.
I think it rings a bell, but
Because
only from like last.
Rachel, and Chloe has played it before as well.
I think I've heard of it from like Let's Players, but
Yeah, a lot.
I
Yeah, a
never
lot of Let's Players do it.
never watched it. But I think it rings a bell, but I never played it or watched any of it.
Yeah, Lee was like, "Hey nerd, do you want to play a different game?" He was like, "You might like it." He's like, "But hear me out before you reject, and don't reject as soon as I tell you what it is. It's a dating sim, but it's worth playing." I'm like, I don't know, I'm not really one to play dating sims. And he's like, it's a dating sim with a twist. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
cold.
I viewed it because I noticed that Game Grumps played it and this other YouTuber played it. And I watched a video and I'm just like, okay. And I saw some of the dialogues that came across and it was like, what? Because the characters were talking about basically committing a bank heist, and it was like, what's happening? And it's like your crush is asked for your opinion on how on the best way to raid this bank, and they chose the option which was to bribe, which was to eat the ogre security guard the same way as you ate the potato that you were using to plan your bank heist. And it was like, what? And it said in the dialogue, you casually stroll up to the ogre guard and you just bite into him and start eating him. And strangely enough, he tastes like a potato. And it was like, what? So I installed it, played it with Lee, and it was like the funniest thing I'd ever played. And it was like, oh my fucking god. So yeah, it was yeah, it's quite a funny game. And since then, it's had a spin-off of a game called Monster Camp, and it's a game that I can literally jump into any time with a group of people and just have a really funny time.
Ah, reminds me a little of that Jackbox game where he plays like monsters and it's like a dating thing. And
Yeah, it's similar to that, but it has
well,
its own dialogue rather than you just make up a way of how to.
I know, but from experience when I played with friends that game, the best way to win is to be as slutty as possible.
Yep. But the thing is with this game is it also had stats as well. So it was basically like D&D where you had stats, but the stats weren't like strength and all that. It was and charisma and all that. It was coolness, money, boldness, smarts, charisma, and charm. And if you had a certain stat that was quite high, and you had a scenario that played out where you had to choose between two options, you'd have to go with the option that sounded more. Well, if you had loads of charm, an option that sounded very flirtatious slash charming. Or if you're extremely bold, choose an option that was like sounded very bold, like, oh, Fingley wants to know the best way of how to crash his party. Either literally gate crash but with a boat, or just simply jump through the window and sneak in. And if you're bold, of course you're going to go with literally gate crash the party with a boat. And it would give you bonuses for choosing the right thing due to how it mirrored your stats.
Like a funny thing I mentioned with some friends is, like I know it sounds crazy, but it would be an amusing experiences if we did one of the Halo games on Legendary with all the skulls on. And I know it sounds batshit crazy, but it would be funny just for the experience of it.
Oh,
No,
I've done it.
you've done it.
I've done that with one of my mates. And this was when I used to have an Xbox 360.
360. Wow, that's old.
Yeah, and that was with two other people. And literally, it was fucking mayhem.
It sounds it sounds
It
mayhem.
was.
I was
My
like,
mate Stevie was a tryhard, and he was he's an old school Halo player, and he's loved all the Halo games. So he was a fucking absolute baller in Halo. Then there was me. I was an old school Call of Duty player, but I could partly play Halo to a degree. But yeah,
yeah,
he was just doing everything right and just getting kills, getting a cover. I'd occasionally be good with hip fires and stuff like that, but I would die a lot, and I would be depending on him to spawn me majority of the time.
yeah. I'm not much of a Halo player, but I did Halo 3 on Legendary with Nox, Ryan, and Ash, and we bossed it.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, it would be fun for an experience. And they were like, no, 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 no. Like, they they were like, no, thinking it was like an infectious bacteria. I was
Yeah,
like,
I will tell you this from experience of playing it. It's a fun idea at first until you actually play it with the fact that you want to pass it, but it's like, no, you cannot. My mate Stevie was just barely pushing on to checkpoints, but it was like, God, this is impossible.
I know. I mean, it just would have been funny just for the experience.
It was
Like,
great getting headshots though. The fucking pinata exploding fucking grunts.
the only thing I can imagine is just stick a bit of blue tack in the very center of your screen where the crosshair would be, and just use that because I know you don't have a hood.
Yeah, true. That's true. Oh,
Yeah,
how draw sort of like use a protractor and just basically draw in the center of your screen with well, with a board marker because you can rub it out.
Yeah. I just probably go in like normal game mode first, get the crosshair on my screen, just stick it in the center of that, and then
Yeah.
go back, turn on all skulls. Just go.
Just go ham.
Like I
Oh
said,
man.
it just really fun for the experience, but everyone's like, no, 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 no. Thinking
Yeah,
it's like
it is. It is quite painful.
something to avoid more than COVID.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was quite painful for your sanity, especially if you were wanting to complete it whilst having all skulls on. You had the literally fucking sweat to do it.
Yeah, I know. I guess it. I was watching Achievement Hunter videos of it,
Oh
and
yeah.
it just seemed funny,
Mm,
just for the experience.
just pure chaos.
Yeah,
Oh man.
like I said,
Mm-mm.
Halo 3 on Legendary was piss easy. You did that in like 2 sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the days when I had a 360, me and my mate Stevie would just stay up late at night and just play it.
Oh, I
I
wish
remember we did the campaigns and it was just literally we just cleared it.
I can remember. I was not really into Halo all that much. It was. I can remember my birthday, which is in January. The January after Halo 3 was released, me, Nox, and another one of my friend went to like the market or something in Lancaster, and
Yeah.
we found a really cheap copy of Halo 3, the Legendary Edition, not Legendary, the Limited Edition. And like I said,
Mm.
this was several months after its release. I've never played a Halo game in my life, but Nox was like, buy it, buy it, buy it, because he wanted to know what the Limited Edition had.
Yeah.
So it was my birthday, and he pretty much pressured me into getting it. In the end, I had some fun. But Halo single player is a bit boring. It's more fun with friends.
Of course, yeah.
I had a lot of fun
Because
though.
I wasn't the biggest on Halo, but my mate was a full-on Halo nerd. But together, we both really got into Gears of War.
Yeah,
Gears of War on the Xbox, my god. We played up to Gears of War 3, both together, and we did all of the campaigns and every difficulty. And I think we had the most enjoyable time on Horde when it was Gears 2. Gears 2 Horde was the best thing ever.
Gears 2 was the best.
It really fucking was.
It's a giant worm. The amount of memes that game was funny.
Yep, the specialized executions that you could execute in two different ways rather than one.
You know how in multiplayer, every time you do an action, it shows it in the bottom left screen. It has your gamer tag, the
Yeah,
icon, and the gamer tag of the other player you do it to.
yeah,
And you know the cutscene where Dom has to mercy kill his wife?
yeah.
Every time the screen goes to black, in my mind, I always imagine in the lower screen, like in multiplayer, Santiago headshots his wife, then Maria is downed, and then Dom curb stomps her, because that's what happens in multiplayer if you headshot someone.
Yeah,
That's what happens
because you
every
get
time.
you get the weapon icon as well.
Yes.
The method of takedown is you sit down arrow,
Yeah.
and then the execution pop up that comes up for the way
So
that you tend to execute.
yeah, so even though it's such a heartfelt moment, every time the screen goes dark, that's what I imagine. I can't help it. It's
Mm.
like Dom headshots his wife, she's down, and then he has to curb stomp her to finish her off. I can remember that. I did Gears 1 Insane on insane difficulty on my own, but it wasn't until the very last bit against General Rom I had to get help because it was impossible on my own. So I got Kieran to help me out. What happened the first time was I died. The second time, I died. The third time, Kieran bitch that I kept dying. And in that round, he got downed like 3 or 4 times. And I was like, quit getting downed. Because he kept going on that I died. And that was the
Yeah.
round where we did it. And that's how I got the achievement.
Mm.
Then Gears 2, I had so much fun with. Like, I struggle with sniper rifles in Halo, but in Gears, I'm pretty good with the sniper rifle. So I played with
Yeah.
another friend in high school. We did all of Insane in co-op, and he could tell every time I got a kill because I always have the sniper main, and you'd always hear like heads getting popped off,
Yeah.
just getting headshots.
That's the thing with Gears. They made getting headshots on that game so rewarding.
Yeah,
Just hearing just the squelch,
yeah, the pop.
just that pop. It was just like, mm.
I miss Gears. I miss Gears too, and
Yeah,
I've got the Ultimate Edition, the HD one, the Gears one.
yeah.
Still need to do that on an Insane, but again, I'd
Mm.
rather do that on co-op with someone.
Yeah, I've got, funnily enough, I've got Gears of War 3 installed because it was like £4 on Humble Bundle with two other games.
Alright.
And because Lee recommended for me to get it, which I did, and it was, yeah, it was on, well, me and Lee just did Horde because Lee had a phase of just playing Horde,
Mhm.
and I joined him on it, and it brought back a little bit of nostalgia. It's like, oh yeah, the fucking
Yeah.
headshot noise. Oh, but Horde isn't as enjoyable on Gear. Well, no, Gears 5. That's the one. I've got Gears 5, not 3. Why did I say 3? But yeah, Gears 5 and comparing Gears 5 Horde to Gears 2, and then I remember playing Gears 3 and 4, and Horde was not as rewarding either.
I actually do have a copy of Gears 5. I've only
Yeah,
played
because
like chapter 1 and then I just stopped.
yeah,
Because
because you got classes on it now, and you level them up, and you get perks, which perk are pretty cool, but
I just lost interest
everything
after
else
Gears
just
3.
costed. You'd gain in-game currency to just spend on fortifications and other things,
Mm.
and it kind of lost its spark because Gears 2 was just literally you had to last. You just had to last and
Yeah,
survive. Find where the fucking spawns of the ammo dump spawns were, and just hunker down. And the waves would get harder and harder to the point where sometimes you couldn't just hunker down, and that you would have to actually a few times run around and shoot, and then get back into your base, and then get out, and then run around and then get back in. And it's
yeah,
just how you maneuvered things, and that was just really entertaining and challenging.
yeah. Gears like 2 Horde was just about survival.
Yeah, and also the meat shield, the grinder shield as well tactic. Did you ever use that?
Been a while since I played Gears 2, to be
Yeah,
honest.
you know, do you remember the shields that the big brutes had? The big old things with the grenades that they would swing around with the shield, and then as soon as they get up close to you, they would smack you with the grenade.
Uh, I think so. Barely.
Yeah, they had shields, and you could pick up their shields when you killed them. If you planted the shield facing inwards of where you're deploying, and the inside of the shield was facing outwards, you could hop over the shield, and enemies couldn't knock down the shield because if you had the outside of the shield facing out, enemies could attack it. But it was a bug which they didn't realize was in the game until people found out and started doing it.
Mm.
That you could actually make a fortification, and actually things wouldn't be able to knock down your shields if you had it in place properly. and all you'd have to do was just get in good amounts of cover and occasionally peek and just block off the exits and entrances into your little hidey hole or little well where you're defending,
Mhm.
whilst the enemy would not be able to get you, but they could still shoot you if you're out of cover. And you'd really need it, especially when the wretches came. I think, yeah, it was mainly because the wretches could jump over your shields as well as everyone else, apart from the bigger units. But you just face the shield the other way on the inside, facing outwards, and they would not be able to get in, which was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do miss classic Gears on 360. I miss a whole bunch of games from. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I miss a whole bunch of games from 360. Like, recently, uh, THQ have announced a bunch of like upcoming games that they're doing, and they're doing one is a complete remake of the very first original Alone in the Dark game, and that made me remember the very clunky Alone in the Dark game from 2008 on the 360. That was clunky as hell, but I do remember having a bunch of like nostalgic memories for it. Sounds like so
yeah,
long ago. But I do remember Gears 1 being so much fun. And like I said, I did buy the HD, like the Ultimate Edition or something like that, for the Xbox One. And that came with Gears 1 through 3's 360 edition. I
yeah.
still haven't, like I said, I've managed to do Gears 1 on Insane. I still haven't done that yet on the Ultimate Edition. I need to do that. Good point.
Yeah. Wow. God damn, I am starting to sweat.
So hot where you are.
Yeah. It's, supposedly cooled down this morning because, it's starting to get sort of like stormy and, apparently forecasting storms, a thunderstorm to be around here, but not had it yet, which is a bit weird. And then now they're forecasting it's just going to rain at some point.
Yeah. It's
So hopefully it's cooling down, but towards this afternoon it's just started getting hot and stuffy again, and it was like,
cooled down quite a bit where I am compared to yesterday.
yeah. Hmm. Right, I need to pop to the toilets a bit back.
So,
Welcome to Quiet Stream, where nothing really happens, except for sometimes noise, such as this and that. Oh, I love how I finished session pretty much an hour and a half ago, and I am technically still going. How are we, Kerbals?
Okay, you?
I've got dinner here. I nearly feared for my life because I saw slight pink tinges on the inside of my chicken, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be diseased, but it turns out it was part of the bone. Yeah. So, I'm not going to die.
Welcome.
Yeah, you don't need that bone.
Yeah, no. I'm not a dog.
Yeah, Mum, just gotta take the plate down.
Yeah, Connor, you take that plate downstairs, you bitch. What have you two been up to in my absence?
We can talk about you.
Oh, good. It means when I look back on the stream, I'll hear it all.
By you, I mean other things. Gears of War, Halo. Nostalgic things because we're old.
Yeah, Mum.
Back in the glorious 360 days. What about you? Do you have any nostalgic 360 memories with Halo, Bioshock?
My first game I ever played was on 360, don't get me wrong, they were much worse. Is Gears 1. I didn't have internet at the time either. So it was like all story mode. And it was fun.
Yeah.
And then when inevitably I got internet, I was like, oh my god, I didn't know this was a thing!
Multiplayer where you can beat other people up.
Yeah man, and horde mode. Oh, what was... I think there was one as well where you can play the monsters? Or am I imagining that?
The Locust.
Oh.
Yeah, you could play that as the first game, like multiplayer, with the what was it, cogs against Locust.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you could play actually as like the bigger monsters, not just, you know, grunts and all that shooting at each other. You had special abilities and shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they brought that into number 4, I think it is. Whatever the most recent one is with the girl, main protagonist.
That'll be the
Nigel Mother Dearest.
that'd be 5.
That goes. Hello.
Oh.
Hello, welcome back, Lee.
Hello. I have made and finished my tea.
Nice. I was going to say, whilst you were away, me and Kirby had just been completely nerding out.
Oh god, I've got to go to bed soon because I'm an old man who has a job.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was telling him how I first got around to sort of being into roleplay was due to you introducing me to Monster Prom.
Yeah, Mum.
You remember that, don't you?
Vaguely, yes.
You were like, Connor, hear me out. Don't shoot me down just because you hear what the title or what type of game it is, but it's worth it. It's a dating sim. I'm like, don't know.
I don't like dating sims, and I'm like, oh, this foolish man.
And you're like, the best way I can describe it is it's like Cards Against Humanity and a dating sim combined. I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
But did I tell you, voice acting?
Yeah, and you're like, we need to sound as stupid as shit. I'm like, okay, I could be in. Not really a voice actor. Well, give that these sort of things, but I'm willing to give it a try. And then yeah,
That
got really
and
into it.
about 1,000 D&D sessions later, and you're all up for it.
pretty much. Love it.
Oh, that's gonna be all night for me now.
Yo ho ho.
Do we have any?
Since it's
any-
10,
Yep. Sorry, you were saying?
since it's 10, I imagine some of us will be calling it a night.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was you gonna say, Lou?
Pretty much that, to be honest. Like, I was gonna say, I'm probably going in about a minute, because, yeah. Bed
I guess we will leave it at that.
yes, if there's any questions or anything during the week or otherwise, let me know.
Of course. And well, I'm gonna polish up my backstory fully, hopefully by the time next session comes, because I'm halfway through the polished version.
I'll probably keep my backstory as same since we didn't really get into it.
Come on. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see you all next week.
Yes, you will, my duder. Enjoy your week and a weekend, my guys.
I'll
Will
try.
do.
I mean,
Well, try to. Yeah, that's a good point.
you've already had who knows how many shots of alcohol, so you're doing good so far.
Till next week.
Mm.
Farewell.
Gianni.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So, for those of you still listening to Smooth Jazz FM, it is? Oh my lord. Thank you for letting me know. Let me just have a look at that. On whose end? Theirs or mine? Obviously they're no longer in the call, but I could probably play music or something for the sake of differentiating. That's very weird. Well, damn. For the sake of my microphone, I think that's probably just because it's very old and struggling. But for theirs, I have reduced their volume so that it doesn't overtake mine when there's music. But I have adjusted it. So let's find some background music and see if that fixes that side of things. Boop. So the music going right now is just a smidge more than my typical. So like that. That right there is my... Come on, get to the point. There we go. The volume of it at the moment is... Wow, actually, yeah, it really is slow, isn't it? Quiet. I don't actually think that's... Oh, thank you for following. Nice to meet you, my dude. Sorry that you weren't here for what the actual point of the stream is. One of my players had a bit of a poor time. He's not feeling very well. So we only had a short session today to inaugurate everyone into the who, the what, the where. I am playing with mostly friends, so you know. We will be playing again next Monday. I also will be streaming my current constant campaign on Thursday. Oh no, wait, shit, I won't. Everyone's busy. I have no D&D for weeks. No. Fuck my life. I need my fix. Long story short, I do stream D&D Monday and Thursday under normal circumstances. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. Weird. Well, I'll have to fix the volume issue across the week. Thank you for letting me know. What, you've had a... Oh, nice. Hello, Baba. Yeah, how are you? Dinner's in the microwave. Nope, I'm using Streamlabs. I was using OBS once upon a time, but there was a kind of clash with whenever I was using Roll20 and OBS for some reason, and so I kind of just quit. Tried something new, someone recommended Streamlabs, never gone back since. Connor.
Oh shit! I forgot to leave.
It's just concern.
Yeah. I was trying to. I was just moving around save files because I had the Word document saved to OneDrive, and I was like, how to move this, and I forgot all about leaving. And then I've just been watching YouTube videos, and I see you come in, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm still in Discord. All right, I hadn't forgotten. I just kind of, yeah. And I see Teji's just joined here.
Yeah, he was going to join the call earlier, and we were going to talk about D&D for a little bit, because he is going to join the one-shot, but obviously I assume he got busy with food and whatnot.
Fair enough, yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to love and leave you again, my dude.
Yeah, that's fine. I was going to say, you've literally just come in to ask why I was still here.
Just like, are you okay? Do you need help?
Oh, I'm good. But right, have a good night, man.
And you?
Wood door, boy boy.
Wait, boy. So yeah, yeah, I will check, because I think more than likely something has clashed. It would not surprise me, to be honest. I have very poor luck when it comes to my headset and the systems working. Yeah, feel free to tune in on Monday and or whenever the hell I will randomly, inevitably appear here again. Until then, though...